Okay, how about this? We square up La Familia versus.
Wait, I do it.
A fight card?
Yeah,
Fight card?
in the prime. What are we looking at?
Francois would take on 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
He would headbutt one, punch the other in the face, step on the toe of the other person, and they would go, whoa, 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 Francois.
On today's episode of the Grab Matters podcast, we're going into Shop Talk episode 8, the Christmas special. This is coming out on Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to everybody out there. We're sitting down with Erik Ruck, Parks Bonifay, and Shane Bonifay, as well as myself, and we are going over a ton of old stories from the Pointless days. We got a Mount Rushmore that we do, which is Mount Rushmore of best style on a wakeboard. We also do way too early predictions on the PWT 2025, as well as Langenfeld Open 2025. And like I mentioned, we're diving into just a bunch of stories from Pointless, whether it's some of the gnarly rails they hit, some close calls they had, some partying they were having. Parks, Shane, and Ruck really get into it, and it's a great episode. As always, if you guys are interested in supporting the podcast, joining the Patreon is the best way to do that. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody who's on the Patreon. Your guys' support is literally what keeps this podcast going, so thank you guys so much. Without further ado, let's get into this episode of the Grab Matters podcast.
I approve waterboarding. They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside,
Side air railing.
a new dimension.
Shop Talk, episode 8, the Pointless Christmas Special. We got a couple of the boys from Pointless in here. We got Ruck, currently grabbing beers. Parks to my far left, and then Lil Bro, Shane Bonifay to his right. We're going to dive into a lot today. We got a lot of fun stuff to cover. But first things first, I think the most important thing we do here today, boys, is crack a freshie. What do you say?
I go into 1, 2, 3 crack.
How about you count us down here?
Yeah,
give us,
is it a 1, 2, 3 crack? A 1, 2, 3?
We're going to do a 3,
Are we
2,
cracking
1.
on
We're going to do a 3, 2, 1 crack.
count down.
So
It's kind of like
one.
Rochambeau. Are we going 1, 2, 3, shoot?
Yeah, it's on the shoot.
It's always on
It's on
shoot.
the shoot? Okay.
Ready?
I would have been early.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, that sounded good.
Doesn't get
did
much better
sound
than
nice.
That was nice on the headphones.
that. Yeah, it was. All right.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers,
Thank you.
everybody.
See you. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, everyone, for
Merry
tuning
early
in.
Christmas.
This is coming out on Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas Eve to everybody that's watching. I hope you guys have a good Christmas tomorrow. We usually start off with a Mount Rushmore, and I didn't tell any of these boys what the Mount Rushmore was going to be. I think you guys are all familiar with what a Mount Rushmore is, right?
Yeah.
So you're picking 4 riders in this case, and we're going to go best style. So,
Ooh.
and you can go wherever you want with this. It can be either, right now, someone who's got the best style in the past couple of years, or it could be, a Greg Nelson type. Not to throw a name out there, but that's a name. And I think we start with Ruck.
Okay.
We'll go to me, Shane.
And everyone gets their own Mount Rushmore.
You're building your own
Yeah, okay.
personal Mount Rushmore here. So, and then it'll be snake draft. So Parks will go twice at the end, and we'll work our way
So
back.
if I say something, that doesn't mean that somebody else can't say it, does it?
It does. Once you take it, she's off the board.
Oh, I'm
You
glad
didn't-
I'm
that's
going
a plot
first.
twister.
Yeah,
glad I'm going
It's like a
first.
draft of NFL. Like you once you take somebody, they're gone.
Oh,
they're
man.
off the
That's all we
board.
know, Rook.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with influential to me on style, not as necessarily opposed as
This is your number 1 draft pick, so take
This
it.
is
because
1-1. This is 1-1. It's huge.
obviously Scotty B, first and foremost. But
Easy.
I'm going number 2.
Wait, you
No,
don't
you don't
wait,
go
wait,
number
wait,
2.
whoa,
You
whoa,
don't
whoa.
go number 2.
Oh, you don't
We're
go
going-
We're in
line.
rotation.
We're going.
I jumped. I
Snake
got
draft.
excited.
Snake draft.
I got
Snake draft.
excited. I got excited.
At least you didn't
Maybe
let
not
it.
snake
At least you
draft.
didn't let it out. That's good. All right. So we got Scott Byerly. I think that's
Good,
an easy
good,
1-1.
good call, good
I think
call.
everybody would
Yeah.
have that on their board. I'm gonna go Randall Harris. 2 for me. So
Yeah. I was,
again, an easy one. I think layup, if you will.
I think I got one, but Shane's no, I don't think you're going to take it.
Man, I was already just trying to think of obviously the first 2, and y'all just went with them.
Sure did.
Favorite style. I would have to say
You got 3. You got 4. You got to fill up. So you better.
No, this is
Yeah,
gonna
you're
be
really
tough.
having troubles with
was
this.
the
Why
I
first
you-
know. Well, I mean,
You took 2 of Shane's. You took 2 of Shane's ones that he wanted.
Really
Apparently
backed
no one
you up
else has
against
good
the wall.
style.
His list was Byerly and Randall Harris, and that's all he's got.
I mean, this is gonna
take-
be, it's going to be tough from here too, because I'm gonna put,
Just take
I'm gonna
yourself,
put Ruck,
Shane.
No, I'm gonna put Ruck on the board. Ruck was.
I like
always
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Ruck on the board.
Thank
for
you,
me.
Solid.
I like that.
Damn.
Is this in no particular order, right? Like,
It's your Mount Rushmore, so no, it's you're just looking
not
at Mount
like-
Rushmore.
yeah, okay. Just
Yeah,
But George Washington is on the far left.
he is number
Yeah,
1. Yeah,
yeah.
for a reason. So,
Um,
Parks, you got 2. You got 2 in a row here.
2 in a row here?
draft,
So it is snake draft.
Snake draft style. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let's go. I might could say Let's go Keith Lyman.
Oh, dang.
I think that's a
Okay.
zinger right there. Little, no one. I mean, obviously,
When you hear it,
when
you don't see
everyone
that
knows
coming.
when you hear it, it's like
When
a
you hear it, like,
no-brainer.
yeah, but
I mean,
see
I
that
think
coming.
I think that's one of the best right there. So I get 2 in a row right now.
You get another one.
Not sure if this dude's going to come back to me, so I'm going to take it right now. And this is kind of more of a modern pick. I'm going to go Dom Hurler.
Oh, boom.
I like it.
Can't
I
go
like
wrong
it.
there. Can't go wrong there.
Definitely.
I like it. I mean, I'm obviously going to stick with the boys and say Dan Harf.
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's making me seem like a sellout now.
No, I like how you're running down the
Or is he a
Pointless
hometown
line.
hero?
We know who.
Sound
I like.
all the
We know
boys,
it's
Pete.
just- No.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go West Coast boat guy, Mike Schwenny.
Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Kind of.
I like
you
that.
know, name maybe you wouldn't think of, but I feel like when you hear that one, it's like, yeah.
His riding was definitely like trick selection and just the way he like even carved. It was
the
like
flow
it was
is
like,
just
yeah,
so good. Yeah.
good call.
Loose boots, bending the knees, bending the ankles.
I'm going. This one's way back. I think I've actually brought him up on possibly on one of the times I've been on, an episode. But I'm going PB Shane. You guys are gonna know I love this guy,
I already know who you're going to go with.
Steve Wallman.
I knew.
baby.
You both knew
Yeah, Ruck was
that
a big
was
Wallman
but
fan.
you're right. That one.
I mean, you can't say that he didn't change a game. Like his for what it's worth part was a game changer.
I mean, you stole that mob straight out of his book.
And you really haven't seen a
110%
style.
did.
You really haven't seen a style kind of like his at all either. Like some styles get like replicated almost like like a lot of people rode like Watson kind of like a lot like Watson was kind of like a version like a modern. You could see like an evolution of some styles, but like Wallman had like
A truly original is very.
Yeah.
I would say that Watson myself. There's a couple of Pointless guys that had that took a lot from Wallman
Yeah.
because one thing besides mute mobs and mute cabbies and mute roll the reverts and big double ups like that, one thing that he did before a lot of people did and before wakes were big enough for most people to comprehend is he would, because he was a snowboarder, he would carry a lot of speed in and flatten out and edge and be able to spin with no tension. He wasn't a guy back in these days, 97, wasn't edging through the wake and using rope tension as pop. You know what I mean? Like he definitely kind of brought a whole different.
probably on some of the first
Yeah.
3-stage rocker boards.
Exactly.
And just like the first like overhead off axis spins that that move or the roll to revert style like heel 5 he would do. It's just like
That's a good one. So who do you have?
I got Scotty B, Steve Wallman.
You got another one.
you gotta
Oh,
go
okay.
snake
Snake
draft.
draft.
Back, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go fully new school.
I like it.
And someone that I get to watch from the tube a lot. I'm going to go Mossy Piff.
Fuck. That was my next pick.
Damn.
That's a good one. That's
Okay.
a really good one.
Put me in a pickle here right now. Okay. That is a great pick.
There's
Great
nothing
pick.
worse than fantasy football when you have a pick in the queue and then someone takes
And
it.
I'm not going to say that I wasn't expecting you to take it because it makes sense that you did, but I'm going to say I wasn't expecting
And
you to
it's
take
like with this many people, like you're like it's hard to. It's gonna. This last pick is gonna be a tough one to come around. Where you're like, there's so many good names off of the board. You're like, not that there's not that many good riders, but you're like,
Well, I just kind of went too old school, so I was trying to like.
I know that was my thought too.
I didn't
you
want to
know?
jump
Moss
on
is
just
good.
go stay old school because a lot of time I'm just feel like I'm just talking about the old school.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll go Euro style. Tobias Mitchell.
Oh, that's
You
what
guys
call it.
full track kit.
Oh,
You guys
yeah,
know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
he's
about.
sick. Yeah.
yeah.
I can Teletoby.
Yeah, he needs a belt. But
Teletoby.
Teletoby. That's a great nickname. I haven't heard that before. All right, yeah, going new school, going cable on the side of things. So that's my third pick there.
All right, this one, I like this one. This is just a classic, not a classic wakeboard, like a classic, obviously great style, Benny G.
Oh,
Benny G, just like every trick he did it a
100%.
perfect
Damn it,
way.
that would've
Like
been a
the
good one.
one of the best ways you can do each one of those tricks is like
It's a good one.
Talk about a perfectionist.
Yeah.
perfectionist. Yeah.
Very intentional with every trick.
Yeah.
Okay. Final two, Parks.
I think I might have trouble with the last. No, I think I got it. All right. And this is a no suck up right here.
Sounds like a suck up.
Shane Bonifay.
What?
Oh shit!
Who's the suck up now? For sure.
I paid him a few bucks to say that.
Yeah,
I
how
knew
many-
this
how much
question was going to be asked.
dollars
I was like,
exchanged
hey,
behind the scenes here
I'll
before
get
the
you a
pod.
So
good
I got
Christmas.
Lyman, Dom, Shane, and I have one more pick.
You got one last one to round out your Mount Rushmore.
Is everyone else done, or y'all get one more?
We go back down, yeah. You're holding up the beginning of the end.
Let's go Thomas Harrell.
Ooh. I was thinking that. I was there.
Wakeboard and wake skate.
Yeah,
Like not just
exactly.
wake skate.
Yep,
If you
yeah,
watched old school Thomas, right? Like hands down still to this day, best toe front in the game.
Yeah, a lot of
and cab fronty.
Cab fronty.
so many good. Yeah.
Another good sneaky pick that definitely I feel like the new school probably is like, who's that? And then you go look, it's like, yeah, makes sense. All right. That's a good list. That's a good list.
No, it's
Good Rushmore. All right, Shane, what do you got? Last pick.
This is one almost like Ruck's pick on Mossy, where it's like he likes filming them. My favorite writer of film right now, Felix.
Yep.
I love Felix.
On my list, without a doubt.
Yeah, he's sick.
Sorry, I knew I should have handed it back to you, but I'll give you I'll give you the best wakeboarder, but we gotta.
Dude, I would know something's fishy if anyone said me.
Cross that one off. Parks Bonifay on this. Okay.
Well, you could take, yours would be broken up. It's like the later years of Parks, not those like first like 6 or 7, but it's like after 12 honkies or 6-pack after.
You got to throw you. You can say
get
my
it.
name, but you got to throw
Say the asterisk in there. It's like not
From here and beyond.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go another West Coaster. I think Melissa. I don't know how to say her last name. Marquardt.
Yeah.
Marquardt.
Yeah.
All right.
Melissa was
That's
awesome.
I had some recent clips I was watching of her, and I was like, yeah, she's got freaking good style, man.
Yeah, she is like the first girl to really do it right.
To really like, do proper style, grabs, all that stuff. So she's gonna run down my list here.
I'm going to pick. This one's going to be different. It's not a wakeboarder and it's not a cable guy.
George Clooney?
I haven't. I haven't.
Style.
One wake skater just hasn't popped up yet, and his style on and off the water is bar none to possibly the most classic.
You are building this up
of
right now.
all
Rob.
time.
It's a great build up. This is the last pick, Hunter.
Last pick. I have to paint the picture.
What do they call the last pick of the draft? Mr. Forgettable or something like that?
This one's not forgettable. Mr. Danny Hampson.
Hampson. Yeah, off of the water, one of the most stylish, awesome people in the world.
Do you remember that section that Colin filmed of him, where he's good out in the flats? And I mean, is that the one where he won the video section and he came up at Wake Awards and he said, "I just want to thank God for letting a scumbag like me win." You guys remember that?
Speech of all
That was
time.
one of the greatest acceptance speeches I've ever seen.
But what was I remember, is that the same one? There's an aerial view of him carving on his wake skate, and he was doing like 180s and like turning into the wave.
He was doing
crazy.
just
like he had. Yeah.
It was sick.
Yeah. No,
He turned it
Hampson
up.
was-
I can't remember the name of that edit, but like he turned it up and like it was just super original, and he was going huge, like charging into the flats on random stuff,
yeah.
and then super sick little sleigh
No,
shoes.
Hampson's an awesome one. That's a great pick.
That is a great pick.
Probably should have picked Wyatt somewhere in my team.
Who's that?
Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Watson.
Yeah, he was on my
Watson's-
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do honorable mentions here because obviously Sean Watson,
I'm
huge
good.
honorable mention.
Yeah,
Throw that out there.
I'll go Greg Nelson. I think big honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
definitely.
Necrassen. Necrassen just had such a unique little style of
Weddington back in the day.
Weddington. I like that.
So what's everyone's Rushmore? You read them out.
I didn't write him down because I usually
well,
just do it on video.
well,
afterwards,
remember
but hopefully, I mean,
You can remember.
Yeah.
Who you got? We'll go around the thing.
Scotty B, Steve Wallman, Mossy, Danny Hampson.
Nice.
I went Randall Harris, Tobias Mitchell, Mike Schwenny, and then Melissa.
Nice list.
Yeah. It was Ruck, Harf, Benny G, and Felix.
Solid Rushmore right there too.
Yeah.
What was my Keith Lyman, Dom Hernler, Shane Bonifay, and Thomas Harrell.
I don't know how you vote on these. They're all so.
This is up to the Patreons.
Yeah,
to
we'll
vote.
see
Or-
what the people think.
But the people think.
We'll see what the people think because I think they all have their own unique. You vote on what you like. So I think we dive into
Winner gets $20.
winner gets $20 so they can take home the eggnog, which we'll try in a little bit here. But I think we dive into way too early predictions for both PWT 2025 and LAO 2025. So two of the, obviously PWT is its own tour, but LAO is like the first cable contest. So I think we all pick who's going to be the 2025 PWT overall winner going into 2025. So at the end, overall winner who we think is going to win. And we'll start with Parks this time. Start at that end. And these are,
Okay. Let's do PWT first.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go around do PWT and then we'll go around do LAO.
Okay. Who took it down there? Did Nick win?
Nick won overall and then Corey was second?
I thought Corey might have.
Did
took
Corey
it.
win overall?
I think Corey.
I think Corey did.
Yeah, I think he did.
We'll do a quick fact check, but you keep going.
You know who I think is fired up after kind of having the year he had and after winning it the year before is I think Tyler really is kind of like, and it sounds cliche saying it because not cliche, but Tyler really, I don't know. I think Tyler almost like hates losing more than he like loves like almost like winning in the sense. So I think like after he got the taste of like winning the Pro Tour when like Nick and some of the guys were hurt, and then he kind of had like a rougher year this year. I think I've just been watching Tyler ride, and I think new X Stars coming out. I think he's going to be super fired up for this next year and be riding. And just
I think if
that whole crew is just like,
I think if Tyler starts out good, like if he can win or get podium on the first one, then has like such a better like he's like
he plays better from the lead.
Because I feel like he's such an emotional rider that as soon as he like has like a bad run, then he's like, oh, we got to climb back harder next week and come back. Like it's funny, like, because I'm riding in the boat every time for the filming from the boat, and I can just see it, like, as soon as if he has, like, a bad round or, like,
even
has a bad run,
something,
you can see his emotions get to him a little much, but I feel like he's due, and he's good enough to do it for sure. So I feel like if he starts out strong and gets a good podium or even wins the first one, then he'll just be on, like, way light-footed going into the next ones.
If you were to make bets, if Tyler wins the first bet or first stop, I would make a big bet on Tyler to win overall. That's how that would go for me. But last year, 2024 overall standings were Corey 1, Nick 2, Gunther 3. So they were all very close to each other though in terms of the top 3. Or I guess Shota was tied for third as well.
Well, I will go ahead and say, like Shota was in there, and Shota, every time I see him, I give him shit because he made one decision on the last Pro Tour that was, they were asking him, was that your best trick run or was that your 3-trick line? And he said the wrong answer. Like even the judges in the boat were like, before we went and picked him up, they're like, if we go back and ask him which one that was and he says that was my best trick line, he's now into the finals and can get third easily. And we went back and we're like, what was that? And he was like, that was my 3-trick line. And everybody was like, no, Shota, wrong answer.
But the riders had the choice of choosing which direction you wanted to do. You could do best trick coming back or 3-trick line, or you could swap it. But you had to let the judges know.
It was sort of tough because the way he did it, he made one really good trick and then fell on his next one. So it could have been his 3-trick line, or it could have been him trying his best trick again. And then the way his second pass worked, it was sort of confusing to explain right now. But the way it unfolded, we were like, They didn't know. The
Which is
judges
which,
didn't
yeah.
know which one they were supposed to take for his best trick line, and he said it wrong. Like, if he would have just said the other way, he would have made it into the finals and then edged out Gunther and at least gotten third.
Third by himself, yeah.
And I call him out on it every time. I'm like, come on, Shut.
So I got Ty. Who you picking?
Oh, we have to pick different people? I thought we could just.
Oh, we each got to pick. I mean, you could pick Ty too, I guess, if you
You want to take Ty? I'll throw another
I was
one.
gonna say Ty. I think
That's-
Ty
I think
has
that's
the
fine.
best. Yeah.
You take Tyler too.
Well, I was on the fence since he's taking my Ty. I really think Thomas has it coming. Did I take yours?
He took mine. No, that's fine. I'm
we're
third,
fine.
dude. You take Thomas too? Because my thought with Thomas is like I feel like the past few years he's been learning like a new trick each year to get to his whatever 7 to 9 trick to get the full pass or whatever. And I feel like this next year is gonna be the year where he's like, okay, all of my tricks are now good enough to compete with Corey and Nick, and like
I agree.
can take down a round.
Peeps, I liked how you're like, you took my tie.
You took my
Since you took my tie.
I'm gonna take your Thomas.
Take your time.
You took my time.
Okay, so you got Thomas, you got Ty. I'm gonna go. I feel like this is chalk, is what they say in the sports world. I'm gonna go Corey. Corey Jameson, just run it back.
Save that's definitely not a dark horse there.
No, he's been running up the ice bass. The kid's got. I mean, yeah. No, I don't need to say anything. He won last year. He wins.
I think Wild Horse Trent Stuckey's going to qualify and take the
Oh, zinger. Bow, bow, bow. I like that. Hot take.
So he's winning LAO and winning the Pro Wakeboard Tour.
Exactly.
Okay.
Damn.
Is that your pick? You're taking Trent?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I kind of.
I watched him ride the other day. It was pretty
I mean,
bonkers, man.
I'm sure people
It's
watching this have been at least loosely
impressive,
following what he's been posting on his stories, and he's very much so dialed in. It seems like
He's
getting dialed in.
He has so much board awareness, like just
Dude,
hitting
rope
double.
control,
yeah.
Like
That's
tension,
rope. His rope tension, like control, is bonkers. From taking.
and for the fact that you can master and to have it dialed on boat and cable, because I feel like I've always had like boat tension like dialed, but I've always had trouble passing the handle like on the cable. I don't know if it's the angle of it, like pulling it high on my back.
It's totally
or if it's
different.
Like
Yeah.
not preloaded enough, but I've always had a super. I mean, he's got them both dialed.
Yeah, which is I was talking about this. I don't know who I was talking about this with. What like Trent has had so much time with a handle in his hand and a board on his feet on the water that like, yeah, it's gonna take a bit to get the boat thing figured out. But once he gets it figured out a little bit,
Before Double or Nothing, I was on the boat with him, and it was like honestly like his 10th or 15th double up that he was hitting, and he was already doing like back nines and back it was insane that he hadn't never hit double ups before and already knew exactly where to get and find the spot, and it's like that takes some time to.
yeah, and you guys would know better than me, obviously, but like hitting double ups is its own
That's
thing
his own
to
thing
figure out.
itself,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
to figure out the wake, yeah, that's hard, but to figure out double ups too, I think is so it's impressive to see him do that. So, all right, let's do LAO then. So we'll start at this end. Ruck, are you gonna just run Trent?
I'm going Trent back to
Trent
back.
across the
Trent's
board.
my horse.
Okay, I like it. So
You're my horse that never
you're going
wins a
you're going
race.
double Trent.
He always wins races.
Yeah, I know.
He literally all he does is win races. Yeah.
That was it. That was Uncle Paul used to always say that back in
That's
the day.
true. He'd always
That's my horse that never won.
No,
a
he would
race.
come up. He'd go, "Hey, you're my horse, even if you never win a race."
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
I'll go baby bro. I'll go Gavin. I'll go
I
Gavin
also
Stuckey.
wanted to go Gav.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gavin.
Well, and now we just took two of the big names in cable, so it's.
Yeah,
There's a lot of names that can win LAO, though. I'll just put it that way. I think.
I mean, I think, I think Pedro has like a
Yeah.
good
good.
chance. He has a good run, gets out there, picks the right heat.
Take my Pedro.
The only thing with Pedro is though he's a warm weather guy. LAO, cold weather environment, rainy. Got to wear a full suit. You know, if you're thinking in terms of football, you know, you go to Green Bay.
Yeah,
Jared Goff, he plays inside, doesn't do well this year. He did, but
yeah, but Green Bay sucks.
let him know. All right, I like Pedro. Pedro's a good pick. Sorry, Rock. Yeah, I didn't know the Green Bay sucks thing.
Oh no, I'm a Bears guy. I'm a Cubs.
Oh, are you?
I'm a Cubs Bears guy.
Oh, Cubs.
My
all
whole
right.
family's from Chicago. We just moved into.
All right. Glad you didn't switch your allegiances then.
Yeah,
Same
no,
page.
I didn't.
All right, Parks. What do you got? We've got
Let's go, Jules.
Jules.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Okay.
he's coming back off a little injury year. You know, I think he's from France, loves cold weather. He's going to be camping out
I like
in
that
his little
thought.
van. He's going to have a little fucking.
He's gonna heat up a little bit before.
Oh yeah, he's going to be.
He's
gonna
a
be vibing
freaking
out.
sender too, dude.
I like
And the
it.
setup
Yeah,
is
dude,
usually
he's
pretty big there
super
too.
fun to watch. Yeah.
So
Right.
okay, I like that one.
Tree trunk legs.
Seriously,
I mean, I think even if Gunther's getting into doing park pretty heavy again this year, like
Can't rule
he
Gunther
was-
out.
you
Yeah, you
never,
can't
you literally
roll.
never can.
He's just such a smart rider. Like even with the boat stuff, it's like he is just consistently right there on your heels. That if you bobble,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
taking
he's
it.
gonna he's
It's-
going
it's
right
a-
for
it's
your
a
kneecaps.
wild one.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Because this year he did really well, and this was his first year back, kind of.
Yeah,
getting into
that's
it.
what
So
I mean. Is if he
gonna have a
really
full
wants to
off-season.
go full cable this year, because he always swaps. Like he'll pick something to. He's like, I want to do more pro tour this year, or
Yeah.
I'm doing more cable stuff. If he goes cable, he's
And if it's a big setup, if there's some bigger stuff, he'll sack up and he'll. I mean, he thrives good in like super tech kind of like 313 kind of stuff. But he'll
Yeah.
also if there's some big kind of like
He's not scared. Yeah, no, obviously not, but yeah. Parks, you mentioned earlier the new X Star. So I mean, it hasn't been officially released, but it's been soft released, I guess you could say. I don't know. Give us a little bit of a rundown because you went on it the other day, and I mean, this is a full redesign of the Mastercraft X Star.
yeah,
correct?
we were they have a 23 footer and a X25. So there's X Star.
Oh,
and then
two
the
sizes.
Yeah, X25.
Okay.
Yep, and it's dude, seriously like driving the X23 like unweighted. Like we were filming in the boat, and I've never been in a wakeboard boat that like kind of like drove like this, but like unweighted. We did this power spin out, and the thing just fully whipped around like a pro star,
Like a ski boat. Yeah, yeah.
like a ski boat, dude. Like water was like it was like mayhem in there. Whereas I don't recommend doing it right away. But like seriously, the drivability of this boat is insane. Like I think it's like 7,600 pounds dry. Like the X25 is like 8,300 pounds dry. So these boats are pushing so much water. We were Chase was foiling the other day. Like the girth of these waves it's like it's really insane to watch how far it's come. Just like the rooster tail like the thing puts off. It's just like fascinating to watch, and it's just like I can't imagine every X Star and every boat you get in, like it's like how much better can they get?
Yeah.
And it seems like every year, or not every year, but like every time they come up with a new
redesign.
generation, man, it's like it's really impressive. Like, and I'm excited to see what Ty is going to do. Nothing's better than Ty being on a Mastercraft photo shoot on a boat that he's only ridden the prototype, and now we have like the finished version, and it's like sun's coming up, and you know the froth. You've seen it, Rucky. The froth of Ty when he's getting ready to ride this boat is just like it gives me goosebumps because it's like makes me feel like when I was younger, and like seeing like how psyched he is to like ride this boat, and just like the first wake jump, he's just like like he's like going crazy on it. So it's just the froth is real with Ty, and he's in his element like those mornings at those shoots when the boat's all weighted up and it's like glassy, and then and it's a boat that he hasn't really got to ride yet.
Well, dude, I saw you guys were doing, I don't know if it was for this, but a photo shoot. It was like 46 degrees or something, and he was out riding.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, dude, this is great.
That's cold. That's real
Dude,
cold.
Ty freaking goes out, and what did I ask? I go, what's the money line on a double cabbie first trick? He goes, oh, that's like minus 300. Meaning like it's not going to pay good. And then he gets out there and waves juice, dude, and he comes in. I think still is going like 4 ticks too slow on the speed, which we found out about a half set later. Ty comes in. It's like 7:15 in the morning. Sun's just breaking the horizon line. Chase boat is right behind him, and Ty goes for a double cabbie, cases the wake, catches his edge, and just scorpions to the bottom. Very first trick of the morning. I was like, good morning, Tyler. Dude. We are dying. It was great.
good.
Everyone was awake, including Ty.
Not guaranteed money. It doesn't sound like. All right. I mean, I don't want to dive too into it, but like, is it fully redesigned hull? Like everything about this boat is completely new.
Yeah,
When it comes to
100%.
X-Star? Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Tip to tail. It's damn impressive, man.
Love it. All right. I think we dive into the LF'n wheel questions presented by Liquid Force.
The LF'n wheel of questions.
Okay, let's go.
And I think we also do a little eggnog, taste tests
I like that.
during this.
Rocky,
So
hand me a little.
Yeah, and we're gonna get some reload.
Yeah,
some
I'll
beers here,
reload
so.
everybody.
Liquid Force likes to make wakeboarding fun, so let's make this pod a little bit more fun by spinning the LF'n wheel of questions.
It's been pretty damn fun so far, though.
Yeah, you got it has, and we'll get a little bit more fun too. So, yeah, use code festive15 to take an extra 15% off sale items at liquidforce.com.
Oh yeah.
Good until December 31st, so you got about a week to hop on that. Getting some beers here, so yeah, let's do these and let's get this eggnog poured up.
Should we sync these up again?
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. We're all reloading,
You
yeah.
want me to push these back for you, or you want to pour them up? Since aren't we doing a taste test?
We're doing a taste test, yeah. So we'll do one round, and then we'll taste them, and then we'll do the other round. We'll see which one's better. We got two. You want to pour them? Yeah, pour them up, Ruck. Let's do it. Let's do that.
Should I show the camera what we're working with?
Yeah, show the do the wide angle. Do the middle one here. I don't have a label on them. I don't really know how to do that.
I've got to blow my nose.
What's
I don't want to do it right
Nice,
into the
right?
mic.
We're good. What's the name of this one, Rocky? I'll say it to the
This
mic.
one is Mr. Boston's Creamy Nog.
Mr. Boston's Creamy Nog is what we're working with here first.
I always love Mr. Boston stuff.
Nice timing.
Missed out on that one.
Sorry.
I'll go with you, Rob.
So we're just doing a little tape.
Just a little. I mean, however much you know.
Yeah, don't fill it to the brim.
Don't fill it to the brim, but enough to get a nice, one sip. Everybody knows the rules here. We're gonna give it a score 1 to 10 here. So, if you're going out of the store tonight, to get a little Christmas Eve eggnog.
And this is pre-mixed, so
This has. What did you say it has in it?
Yeah.
This has bourbon.
Well, there's like the classic ones where you mix, like you do your own
It's probably better that
actual
way.
eggnog, and then you
Yeah.
add your own bourbon to it. But it's like egg, milk, cinnamon, sort of.
Yeah, I feel like you
Recipe.
drink a little cinnamon in there. Yeah, is
Yeah.
what people do a lot of times. All right.
Shane, didn't you get super sick off eggnog? And
I used to drink eggnog.
Well, you'd be
like
all
the
about it.
virgin, like not even eggnog, like with alcohol in it.
Yeah.
I just because you could buy it by like a little half gallon or
yeah.
whatever, and I would just drink
Dude,
it.
Shane would.
I mean, it's got.
When I was
it was
young,
out of hand.
when I was young, probably when I was like 14, I was just like really like
Just slugging the nog.
just like virgin.
It's not even in season, Shane.
eggnog. Yeah.
it's middle of July, shit. What are we doing with the nog?
It's like hot
Curdling nog.
summer, and I'm just like, give
right.
me the nog.
All right, here we go. So
Here we go. So this is the Mr. Boston
Cheers.
Creamy Nog, right?
Smells good.
What does Will Ferrell say? Will Ferrell say, "Oh, milk was a bad choice."
That's nice though. I like
That is
that.
really good.
Yeah. I can taste a little cinnamon in there, a little
a little nutmeg.
nutmeg.
little
Is that-
I feel like this over some ice cream would be nice. Some vanilla ice cream.
That's That's got to be a thing.
This is
Even like an eggnog McFlurry, I could dig on.
you would dig on a
McDonald's
eggnog
is good on
McFlurry.
that.
I like that one.
That's a pretty good one. I like that
I
one.
feel like
Mr.
the other
Boston.
one's gonna be.
Well, this
hard to
other
beat.
one says this one looks fancier. This other one, Mr. Boston, kind of looks like a Popov type
Are
situation.
we doing these back to back?
Yeah, might as well run them back to back. We'll just say which one you like better, so the people can decide what they want to buy. Give that a 7.2 out of 10.
The boy, wow.
He's a quote machine tonight.
I can't help it.
The boy, wow.
That's why Ruck don't drink eggnog.
All right, so we're pouring up round 2.
What was the name of the
What's
first
Yeah,
one?
wait, what's the name of this one?
The first one, yeah.
Boston's Creamy Nog.
This
Mr.
is
Boston.
Zachariah's.
This is Zachariah Harris's Premium Nog.
Premium Nog. Okay. I showed the camera there, so Zachariah Harris Premium Nog. The price, I think we're the same on these, or within $1 or $2. So
I just don't know if I like the. I mean, it's just nog. We don't got to call it premium nog.
it's kind of pretentious,
tasted
right?
And
This
then,
one
and then
yet.
it's like Zach, just like
You're Zach.
What's the Zachariah thing? Like,
Yeah,
just-
it's on your
you're just
license, I get it,
Zach,
but-
yeah, but just
yeah.
go by Zach, and then your premium, it's like too much.
You think he's
It's
over?
like-
He's just overdoing it a
Overselling?
little
I think he's
bit.
overdoing
Even if
it
it
a
was
little bit.
just Zachariah's nog, I'm into
Let the
that.
consumer say it's premium.
Or if it's Zach Harris's premium nog, I'm into that. But the Zachariah with the premium nog, too
It's-
much for me.
This guy's an asshole. You don't want him on the boat with you. I can tell you that right now. All right, to Zachariah's Premium Nog.
Oh, I'm number one.
I'm a Boston guy.
I'm Boston.
This one's too sweet for me, I think.
I think I got to go again on.
Yeah, get a re-up.
Zachariah's.
Well, it looks like we tasted more.
All I know is I know one thing that's not premium.
That's not
Is
premium.
Zachariah's
Yeah, that's
not-
Zachariah Premium.
I think Shane liked
I'm a
it.
I think
Boston.
it's sweeter to me.
Shane, it looked like you just were gonna
I mean,
pour some
it
in your
just-
mug and then take some out of the top.
I feel like there's this has a,
you can do it. I'll take a little more. I want to taste this one
All right,
a little bit more. Just This one's a little, I think it's, I'm not even a taste.
Did you clear your palate with a
Modelo? Yeah, I think you got.
Yeah, let's clear our palates.
I mean, it's tough for me to clear my palate because this is getting stuck in the stash. So it just like
You are wearing it
I
right
don't
now.
even know if I'm tasting a difference between Mr. Boston's and Zachariah.
I'm cleared
Be
out.
a New York strip from last week.
Saving that for later.
little buffalo sauce.
Well,
still in
see
there.
the texture wise, I think Mr. Boston's is a little thicker.
Does it have legs? Yeah, look at the legs on it.
Look at the legs.
I can taste the booze more in Zachariah Harris's. He doesn't mask
I
it as
agree.
well.
I think it has like a thicker kind of texture to it. I almost like I like the natural taste of the Mr. Boston. Then it wasn't as fluffy.
Yeah, I would go with Mr. Boston.
I'd go Mr. Boston too, but I think Shane, are you? What
I know
what are you
I was
feeling?
talking a lot of smack on Zachariah. You were. I'm going Zachariah. I actually like the bourbon. Like I get a little bit more kick of the bourbon in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I think it's a little sweeter too, so I think it plays into the dum dum tootsie roll kind of situation there. So.
We'll test it again in a little bit.
Well, I named the first one after candy.
What is that? The interview when shit.
So I named the second one after candy too.
If I made
This is why. So everyone's wondering what the hell Ruck's talking
If I
about.
made a
This is
nickel
the
every-
interview Shane gave on why he named all his tricks after candy.
And it was
Once
when I
you
was
start.
still probably like 13 or 14. So yes, my voice did sound like that. But if I made a nickel from every time Ruck or Dano said that to me,
You'd have like $3.
I'd have like I'd have enough to at least buy a bottle of Zachariah's premium dog.
That's true. You'd be drinking premium.
You'd be drinking the premium.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think Shane, we have you spin this LF'n wheel of questions. And we'll all, it depends what it lands on, but we'll all answer it.
Hot takes,
Here, flip it a
favorite
little
films.
bit to the right.
Yeah,
there we
I'm
go.
just looking at
Oh,
something.
I think the premium nog might be in the way, but we're all right. We're going to read it out anyway, so. Getting blocked on the premium
I got a
nog.
lot of beers back here anyway. So, all right. And we're all answering the same one, or is
It
everybody?
depends what it lands on, but yeah, I think we'll all
All right.
answer, the same one.
Best Christmas wake gifts.
Okay. We're going to spin it again. That's like kind of a layup one, but we'll go around the table and
I mean,
You know.
I would say a Slick Willie. If you still had a Slick Willie around and you were giving that out as a Christmas gift,
Again, Shane's talking about to get in your wakeboard boots back in the day. We used to have some spray shaving cream and stuff to slide in. But then this company came up with this. It was called the Slick Willie, and it was like pink, and you slid in the back of your boot just so your foot could like slide
it's
into.
like a shoehorn.
Yeah,
like a shoehorn.
It's like a wakeboard shoehorn. Yeah.
yeah, and they were horrible. But
Can you imagine?
Well
do you think
named.
if
Well
you
named.
you think if you found a Slick Willie today, it would actually still work? You would still have.
Could you get it in a new boot?
No, I don't think you need to.
it was
with
an
the new
aftermarket
boots.
purchase.
I know, but like, I don't know. I guess I've never even seen a Slick
Hey,
Willie.
It was odd. It was a very odd thing, and they actually made like an attachment so it'd go on the back of your boot. So you pull it out after your foot's already in there, and then it would just be this red thing that was like flapping behind your boot while you were riding. And it was pretty.
What a pull! Where'd
Hey,
you pull that from?
This actually brings up something that I think that is a concept that you might actually find interesting here.
Okay.
Hunter.
I like where this is
I
going.
like the setups. Like that.
Is that the advancement of wakeboard footwear actually killed the total industry that used to pay wakeboarders? I'm talking about remember all the different the lube,
Yeah,
the
buku.
binding,
Buku.
buku, loogie lube. I mean,
Booty lube. Why were they all so provocative?
Yeah,
names?
they're all
Like,
super
what's up with that? Like,
Oh, so provocative.
they're booty lube and
Spooge,
Slick Willies,
exactly.
dude. Like,
Yeah. But like those were all these sponsors that came in and they would sponsor 10 wakeboarders that were on tour, and everyone, you'd be making at least probably some people more, but some people would be, at least, I would say what, 500 to
Couple $100 or
$1,000
something.
a
I
month.
don't know if anyone got $1,000. But
Maybe
If it was-
some
if
of the big dogs.
PB would have been
New juice slung around somebody.
Newt juice,
Newt juice?
exactly.
Yeah.
Newt juice. Yeah, they had a whole gallon.
But I'm saying, like, those were those sponsors that would come in and you just make free mailbox money.
You think they
for
saw
no
the new
reason.
boots coming out and they're just like, damn it.
these laces and freaking nice.
Hunter, have you ever had some old school Wiley
Yeah,
boots
I guess.
tightened down? You know what it's like to jam your foot in with some shaving cream and get that.
I don't remember it now.
It's nostalgic.
It felt really good when it first slipped in, and then like 30
What
minutes
happens to
into
the goo? What happens to the goo?
You,
It
you get in the water and you shake it out.
it dissolves.
Shake it out. It goes-
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole point of a good binding lube is
A
that
good goo.
it dissolves quickly.
Yeah, you don't use Dawn soap. Like shaving cream was like when like late 90s, like Darren had his own like shaving cream and come down and then put it in and
Interesting.
shake it
Shaving
out.
cream.
Shaving
as soon
cream
as it
just
hits
dissolves.
water, dissolves.
Like
gone.
if you use like lotion, like some people you've seen people like throw sunscreen on.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
That never come out. Like Dawn soap never comes out.
Well, you don't
Like,
want that because then it's slippery the whole time you're
the
out.
whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Shaving cream was a jam.
Shaving cream.
Whoa.
Darren brought the shaving cream to the table, and people, that was a game changer. That was a game changer.
Yeah.
That's smart. That makes sense. I'll
Then there was just shaving cream all over the starting dock.
Even Dean LaBelle, I remember, would put the shaving cream on his handle and like try to get the lotion. Yep. Get the lotions off of it.
Well, I heard Andrew Atkinson used to not shake people's hands before riding. 'Cause he didn't want to get sunscreen or anything.
Andy wouldn't let people touch his handle, touch his rope.
handle, yeah,
Like
and
he
nothing.
would handle his own rope on the dock because
Yeah.
he didn't want the rope guy.
You know, but I mean, to Andrew's defense, can you imagine? Maybe he has PTSD from someone in early days, junior days. Maybe someone sabotaged him. Really, Andrew, good luck. And it's just a handful of lotion.
It sounds specific,
got-
like he may know what.
No,
what
I'm just
happened
saying, like
here.
that's for the fact that Andrew would say that's a weird kind of like thing to say. So I just
It
think that
is.
he might have had some true life experiences, possibly. Maybe there's some crazy wake dads back in the day. Don't get it.
I'm not done. And
I'm
there's
just
nothing
saying-
worse than a slippery
I'm
handle.
just saying,
telling
like,
you, I agree.
I mean, people would sabotage some stuff back in the
Slippery
day.
handles would be no good. I'll do a pick for a good wake gift. Changing towel. I think something everybody needs, nobody has. Changing towel.
Changing
Just
tails.
throw it out there. It's no Slick Willie or whatever you guys are talking about. But
Yeah, I was going nostalgic, you know. And if I saw somebody gave me one, I'd be like, "Where did you find this?" You
where
know,
did
like,
this come from?
yeah.
Yeah, changing towel or the the full suit towel, whatever
Yeah.
they're called.
They're nice. They're underrated. I think criminally underrated. So, all right, should we give it another spin or what do we think? You guys got gifts. You got.
You got
I
one,
mean, if you
PB?
want to make the kids happy, dude, get them an X-Star.
Okay,
you laughing? Why
you're
you
not wrong there. Good luck wrapping it, but you're not wrong.
All right,
Put a
I'm gonna
bow
They
on it.
come wrapped, actually. They come right out of the factory.
That's
wrapped.
true. They do.
Wrapped in white.
I'm gonna give it another whip real quick.
Yeah, give it another whip. See what we got. So just-
Trick trivia.
Oh, okay. I think we do. I got him on here, and I think I'll ask him, and you guys kind of. I mean, we don't have buzzers, but you guys just speak up if you got the answer first. So, first one. To
Oh, wait,
do,
so we're doing like tap buzzers?
yeah, tap buzzer. So, first one to land the Dum Dum 720. Parks had it first. Now he's
Phil
thinking.
Sylvan.
Nope. Between Ruck and.
It was somebody recently. It was somebody pretty recently, right? I know it wasn't Bob. I think Bob did the Dum 5. Dum 5. No, I don't know who did the. I didn't remember hearing it, but I don't remember who
Ulf
did it.
Ditch.
Was that on? Oh, was
Oh.
that on?
Dum
Okay.
Dum 7, yeah.
Okay.
First Dum Dum
Yep.
7. All right, we'll go round 2. The Elephant.
Greg McCracken.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I knew I was going to get that.
I didn't
All right.
buzz in technically.
Yeah, I think you just say it.
Greg
We got a
McCracken.
buzzer, so just say it. Third one, Spider-Man.
Ricky
Ricky
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Yeah.
I'll give that one to Rocky. Okay, you guys are
Backhand-
quick on that one.
Backhand whirly.
Backhand
bird,
whirly,
dude.
yeah.
Backhand whirly.
I'm actually surprised that, and I told Danny that you should try this like years ago, like a long time ago, but like there's a way that you can grab so many different ways, like if you can do a backhand whirly, because really a whirly bird, you never really see it grabbed because of the way it torques your
Just like
body.
Phil
Like
does
you
them,
really,
like,
you can
rarely,
sneak in
yeah.
a nuke grab maybe,
Yeah.
like, but like if you could grab mute, you can almost grab anywhere.
Because you
and
come
can
up
do
and you're
that.
like unwinding, basically, right?
Right, and then you
so
come
it's
out
like-
of it like a Moby Dick and go into it like a kind of like a corked backside 360
Yeah.
or something.
I did a couple in my day.
Did you really?
Yeah, just to do it.
Okay. You got some clips
Ricky
out
G,
somewhere you
dude.
Put in here? Like I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah,
I knew I'd pass to the
No,
back.
no, this is like even like before, like I was like, this is just like when
Oh,
you were
just messing around in Wisconsin.
when you were just obsessed with learning tricks to
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
tricks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
I'll
did
do
a
the other
couple.
hand. Yeah. Okay. We got last one here. Slim Chance.
Dean LaBelle.
Dean LaBelle.
Nope. Shane.
It wasn't.
Really?
No,
Are
it
you
wasn't.
sure?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
about 60% sure I got it on the internet.
It's not. I mean, it's not Byerly.
Byerly was the answer for what it's. Where I get these is the wakeboard.
think it
site.
was
Byerly did the
Byerly
fat chance. And Dean couldn't
did the-
do a switch front. So
That's right.
the switch front
What was I talking
mobe
about this?
is the fat chance. That was Scotty B. Dean couldn't do a switch front, so
Slim
he
chance.
did the Slimmy.
Slim chance.
No, but I thought it was reversed. I thought Dean did the fat chance. Like I think the slim chance was made first, and then Dean did the fat chance.
No, Byerly fat chance, Dean slim chance.
Byerly
is the
tap
way-
in. Where you at?
All right.
It's-
Fair enough. Fair enough.
110.
110. I mean, Rug, you almost lived with Dean like right around that era.
I
Like,
did.
like that was.
yeah, you'd be locked in on that one.
And Dean's the type of person that would definitely let you know numerous times that he did the slim chance or the fat chance or
Okay.
whatever it was.
Quit confusing everyone. We just like figured this out.
I'm still confused.
Yeah, I'm very confused. All right, so we got we got an LF'n wild card from the crew at Liquid Force, and they are wondering which current wakeboarder would you have liked to have back in the crew during your guys' days. So like a current wakeboarder now, who would you have liked to have in the Pointless crew back in the day?
I love
pick
that
a name.
question. I'm gonna go out and say Mossy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I would say
Sounds like a no-brainer though.
Yeah,
though.
Mossy would be a really good one, and I think I get to hang out with him a lot. Luca.
I was gonna say
Luca or Sam Brown, like
Yeah, I
both
was
of
gonna say
them,
Luca.
they got to come as a pair because one on their
package
own
deal.
is like, yeah, it's just too funny to have both of them.
Yeah, those two embody exactly what.
what you guys were all about.
Yeah, so you take Luca, I'll take Sam.
Yeah,
But between the three of them, all three of them coming would be great.
yeah, no, that would.
I like when the three we picked are just like from today's crew.
From La Familia. Okay, so we got a Patreon question from Josh Boyle, and he's wondering, hypothetically, if we had a contest between La Familia and Pointless, both in their prime, who do you think would win in a head-to-head contest?
I mean, if it was trick for trick, obviously La Familia.
Well, kind of think of it in the lens of like
In their era,
in their era. So like if they were to come back to your era, or you were to come back to this era with
I would say
your guys'
Pointless.
relative skill level.
I would say Pointless for sure because they are always up in the top 10, but we were always like
the top 10.
the top 10. Like, and between Parks and Danny, I mean, Parks and Danny alone versus the rest of La Familia in their eras, I think would have
we got beat by like Murray and Darren as the same way like Nick and Rappa and
Corey.
some of
No,
them.
but they're competing to beat Nick and Nick and Corey. Everybody else was competing to beat you and Harf and Watson. You know what I mean? Like y'all were the ones.
we had a good run there.
We had a good run. We had a good run. And I think contest wise, I think we were winning more of the events.
Okay, I'm curious on crew size because I mean, how many was in the like official? I guess you could say Pointless crew.
9.
9, and then what are we looking at La Familia? I feel like we're looking at almost similar, right?
Yeah, I think it's
7, maybe 8, maybe 9.
I mean, I think you could count. I mean, I think
it's probably 9 or close to. I guess it's very similar. Is I guess my point.
what do you count the twin? I mean,
Yeah, I
the
think
Harris
twins
brothers,
are in, dude.
both
Twins
twins. Is like what I'm saying, like
Yeah, Brandon, Josh are in, and then
yeah. So what are they at 9 probably?
Ditch and
Yeah.
Kai are both in. Yeah.
And I think they do probably about as much on Wake and Cable, like as like the influence that we had at the time, kind of like.
But we had a
Ratio
wake
wise.
skater.
a glorious wake skater. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful driven prelude.
I did get a lot of questions on what you guys think of La Familia. I mean, I obviously everybody's stoked, but I'm curious maybe on some more thoughts on what you guys think of what La Familia is doing these days.
I think they're awesome. I love it. I love, like, even at the Pro Tours where they have their tent set up, they're slinging some gear. They're for the people. They're out there having fun and enjoying it, and I love it. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the crew. It hits hard. It's really cool to see like nowadays that they film as much as they did. And like Shane did, like, just there's so much for the people on site at these contests, like setting up their own tents. I learned a lot of what we should have done with Pointless, like watching. Like I was like, man, we've never sold any merch. I still have a shed out back with all this original edition 1 merch. If you want some Pointless merch coming up, maybe in the future someday, it's like So yeah, they've done just a really good job of just like being with the people on the contest and cable and wake, and like it's a beautiful thing, man. They're great for wakeboarding right now, and the crew is so diverse, and they don't take themselves too seriously. They have fun with it, and I think that's ultimately what kind of like sells the lifestyle, and just a product in itself is just like showing having fun and just living the way they do. And
Yeah.
They embody the full aspect of what we looked at as being a pro wakeboarder.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of lost for a while, and they definitely have brought it back full force.
Yeah, they do. You know, they make it look fun, and they also make it look like a legitimate sport, which is, I think, very hard to do. Which is, you know, props to them, obviously.
And it's like they all are doing it individually too. Like all of them are doing their own thing. You know, Mossy, it's not like they have to be this crew to be successful. Like all of them are successful. All of them are riding amazing, doing badass stuff. And then they also get together and make La Familia and make these videos. And it's cool. Like they are doing exactly what we loved about what we were doing, and they're doing it on their own. Like it's not like they're not trying to re-emulate even what we were doing, but when we see it, we see so much of what they're doing, what we used to do, and it's cool because it's like we weren't wrong by doing what we were doing because we were having fun doing it, and seeing somebody else now doing the exact same thing on their own terms. And
in this crazy day of media nowadays, which is, and something that I think that they have that Pointless didn't really have. I mean, besides like Francois is like geographically, they're like all over the world. Like if you look like Argentina, like England, you know, you got the States and you got Italy. You have like across like their whole team. You know, you have Australia, it's just Australia. Yeah, it's really cool that they have so many different riders from so many different countries and represent the world within like one crew, even though they all live in the same house on the same way.
Hey, but Francois would kick your ass.
He would have no problem.
Yeah, okay, how about this? We square up La Familia versus...
Wait, I do it.
A fight card?
Yeah,
fight card?
in the prime. What are we looking at?
Francois would take on 3 of them. He would headbutt one, punch the other in the face, step on the toe of the other person, and they would go, whoa, 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 Francois.
And we got Chad.
Yeah, and we got Chad.
Dude, La Familia's get their ass kicked for sure.
Yeah. We got Frank and Chad.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Ditch Bros would better be a loose cannon. I think.
Yeah, those would be the 2, but everybody else, I mean, I don't know.
Chad would just take one on the chin and go, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
Okay, you got your one.
You knocked my dip out.
Francois possibly might even have like a pocket knife.
Yeah, he could possibly.
He'd like,
He's got a shank.
He'd like and pull it out, and everybody's like, "Whoa!" I thought we were just punching, and he's like, "No, like." No.
He just puts some jelly on a fucking croissant and fucking eats it, puts his watch back in.
Yeah.
But one more thing I want to add about La Familia is that Donnie kicks ass. Daniel Miles is
needs more
credit.
credit. Needs more credit.
He's the juice, dude.
He's the glue.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I rewatch edits a lot, and you know the La Familia ones are the ones that always are some of the most rewatchable because he just knows how to film. He knows how to edit. He knows how to pick songs, and like that is very rare, I think, to find. So he needs a lot of credit. Yeah,
and he is always he films so much, and what I see him filming and when they're doing it, I'm like, man, I just know you've got hours and hours and hours of footage just to find that one little shot of Mossy and Luca in the bar going, yeah, and then it just cuts, and it's just
hours of B-roll.
I would love to see the shot count of the drop shots, missed shots between Daniel and Shane. Dude, this guy back in the day is notorious.
No, I still miss him.
You come a long way, let's say that.
Oh dear. I'm
Shane, you get that?
You were right there, video it.
Missed it.
There's
The double record thing.
you have you got these boxes of magazines right here. I guarantee you, it wouldn't take very long to find a shot of me filming in the background and somebody's riding here, and my camera's over here. Like,
You're like looking at him with your eyes. You're like,
That was sick. Oh
Yeah.
fuck! I'm supposed to be filming right now.
there's a lot of shots of me and Mags missing shots.
I need to dive through and find some of those. That'd be good to pull up. All right, we got another follow-up one on that one from Brandon Judd, another Patreon question. Thank you to everybody on the Patreon. Your guys' support really is what keeps the pod going. He's wondering, how would you replicate the kind of energy and creativity you had with Pointless, but in today's age of social media? And I think, obviously, La Familia is doing a pretty good job with that. I'm curious if you guys have any other thoughts, because it's such a different landscape.
One thing I have to say is a beautiful thing about our era is that we got away with so much freaking ridiculous shit because we weren't we were filming it, but we didn't have to put it out.
Yeah.
Not everyone was just capturing our freaking ridiculous shit. I mean, like, honestly, like, some of the random bullshit that we were up to was ridiculous. And we got lucky because we got away with it and it was fun and random. But nowadays, social media would have probably been a little brutal to some of our shenanigans.
Yeah, if we were doing what we were doing nowadays, yeah, it'd definitely be. But that's what was benefited us, is whenever we were putting out stuff, nobody had ever seen anything because there wasn't somebody obviously like.
Yeah, you're choosing to put out whatever you want.
Yeah, and it was like that's why people enjoyed watching it, is because they didn't get to see that stuff. Whereas now, with what La Familia have to deal with, on the idea that anybody can just watch wakeboarding and antics online at any given time, you have to provide something more like relevant, more different.
It's harder to capture the attention
it's
nowadays.
way harder. We were just capturing anything and everything and then just giving it. People are like, yeah. But now there's like, you already have an endless feed of that stuff. So how do you make it different and original and make it cool? And that's like what Ruck was saying with, Dan, is like, they're putting out really good edits, and it's.
I think like one thing that was different back in the day compared to now is like the cameras are so good nowadays to where like I think like when you edit, it's more about the cinematic and kind of just the tricks itself and being short packed, really trying to just capture the consumer or whoever's watching it. But like I think like ours, when we were filming, it was like all just like it was almost like dad cam kind of stuff. So like after like watching some of like the old wakeboard videos that were shot on like 16 millimeter, like to have the raw version of Pointless, and you got to hear what it was like to be at a Pointless party. You got to hear the background music. You got to hear people talking. Like, and I think that like people gravitated towards that and got to like experience us for like what it was in real audio and like shitty kind of things, and just like feel what it was like to be there. And you get to learn the character of the person and their personalities, as opposed to just like some cinematic B-roll shot of a handle toss with the sun and then right into the section with the lower third name. Yeah. I think like showing like Pointless, like Incomplete was so long to where like, and then like, who knows what you were really going to get on that. And Mixtape was like even crazier than that. So it's like, it was just all over the place. And like, but I think the rawness of it had like resonated a lot compared to like watching 16 millimeter with the perfect song and the perfect edit and everything. Like I think La Familia, they film with a lot of, that's why dad cams are kind of like coming back. But I think like more of the rawness and hearing the way the person talks, the way the person tells the stories, hear their laugh and shit. I think that like goes a long ways, kind of like with media.
Yeah, spot on.
You know what's interesting though is going back and watching some of that old 16 mil, like all the old wake films like that were filmed on 16 mil, and unless it was like a Milliken like super slow-mo, everyone was handheld in boats, no stabilization. Even though like it's cinematic and like shot really good, the difference in today's footage of most of things you see, the stabilization
is nice.
And what is going on now. Like you'll watch a really sick shot that was shot from a chase boat, like, and it's still, you can tell someone is Or like, you know, like,
Yeah.
and I'm not like
Perfect imperfections.
That's not calling out the old school.
No, I wasn't calling out the
and
16
no,
millimeter and the
no,
all
and
that.
I'm not calling them out either. But you can tell a difference on like stabilization and like, even though it's like legit old school film, like there's
you could see the chatter and
there's bobbles and chatter and like it's
sun flares and like all kind of
Well, I love you gotta love that, but I'm just saying like the difference in like riding in a technology, riding in a chase boat with, you know, a gimbal or just even the in-body stabilization in most of these cameras now is
the boats itself are
crazy.
like smoother ride compared to
also,
like you're shooting in a ski boat back in like
you're bouncing all over the place.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Parks. What are your thoughts on sharing the 2002 Ride of the Year with Randall Harris?
I mean, if there's anyone to share it with, it's Randall. And Randall and I are like, we're not best friends, but Randall and I grew like we spent a lot of time together when we were younger. Randall's one of my good friends, and I respect him more than most, man. And honestly, to share it with Randall, if I shared it with anyone else, I'd probably be fucking pissed.
Okay,
like,
so the reason I bring that up is
like
because
Randall, like we're at the why?
Because he had a quote. He was at. You were both asked about it in an Alliance article about what you guys thought about sharing it, and his quote very much resembled what you just said. Of like, if I shared it with anybody else, I wouldn't be so stoked with it. So, anyways,
I think Randall kind of said it, and I think we feel probably mutual about this. Like, we kind of started wakeboarding at the same time. There's only like I showed up to the first wakeboard contest. There's only like 4 juniors there, and Randall was one of them. And like every contest till, you know, I was 18. Me and Randall were like kind of like we spent a lot of like those early days together. So, if I'm going to split a Rider of the Year, it's I'd be pissed if it wasn't with like if anyone else but Randall. Yeah.
I will say too that between the two of them,
I said that wrong, but
they were they were so opposites, but like so they were the best at
complimentary.
Yeah, like it was. I mean, I don't want to say it was an East Coast and West Coast style, but it was the best of 2 completely different styles. And who's to say which style was better than the other? If you picked one of them to be the Rider of the Year that year, then you're saying that style or that thing was better than the other. And it wasn't. It was like,
really apples to oranges, kind of like, and I think that's why they split it up. It wasn't like me and Randall were going for like, it wasn't like we were both going toe to toe on double ups kind of like thing. Like Randall was like, that was like Natural Born Thrillers Randall. Like this is like as good as Randall pretty much like got, and it was like the pinnacle of his career. And then he was doing like just the craziest double ups and all that stuff out at Canyon Lake. And then I was doing more like kind of like the big gaps in all or nothing, and kind of like in some of those like and going to Chopu and doing like tone and waves and stuff. Yeah. So it's just like the 2 riding styles, like Shane was saying, were like kind of like really different, which is kind of like why we split it. Do I wish I had a hole? Do I wish I had a hole in? Am I bummed I'm the only rider with a half of rider award? Maybe, yeah. But it has nothing to do with like Randall or splitting or anything.
What year was that again?
2002.
2002.
I got to read the quote from Randall, just the second half.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Dude. There is just not enough room on this pedestal for myself and most other riders. They would just look bad. So bad next to me. Parks does not look bad. He just does not look quite as good as me.
And he's right. And he's right.
I feel like that is like the highest compliment one can receive, though, from Randall.
100%.
From Randall, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks for reading that back. That's good.
Every other rider would look so bad.
So bad.
He even thought about it. Like you can hear him like saying it. Like he was like, they would look so bad. And he took a pause and he was like,
no, I didn't say it again. So bad. I love it.
Funny.
Speaking of another one we got here, should Chad Sharp have won the 2004 X Games? I don't know if you guys remember this vividly. Philip Sovin did end up winning, I believe.
2000.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
But I read there was a Wake World article, and it was heated about.
Did Chad write it? No, just joking.
No, I don't know. Or maybe it was an Alliance
So
article.
would have that been the first year at Long Beach?
It was Long Beach, yes.
That was
I don't know if it
the
was
first
the
year at
first year.
Long Beach.
But it was Long Beach.
because there was 2 years in Philly.
Yeah, in 2000.
2001 and 2002 were in Philly.
I would love to see these runs back to back right now.
Honestly, yeah, I couldn't think back and like remember their runs and kind of. But for the fact that people are fired up about it, and I mean, Phil was pretty much.
Do we think these are on the internet right now?
ESPN's kind of a little harder to probably get reruns on the internet.
It's
I don't
really
think
hard
they're
to find.
trying to find like ESPN old reruns on YouTube unless Ryan
pulled them up.
Ryan, we got you. We need something.
All right, I'm gonna tap in real quick to see if I can find this on the internet because I think that'd be very interesting to watch.
No, I mean,
I
think it's a good argument because I guarantee you that it's very questionable. I bet Phil probably did an average Phil run, and Chad probably went big and did some really cool shit. And it probably came down to Phil probably doing like a whirly 5 and Chad doing just a crow 5, and then they're like, "Whoa, whirly 5 beats it." You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's questioning it, I bet it is close.
But like in those days, like when Chad turned it up in a contest and like was on, Chad threw down. You know what I mean? Like,
You're right.
Yeah, he did.
Like he was either throwing his helmet, punching himself in the face, or he was throwing down.
Yeah.
So if that was a heated argument, I would actually.
He threw it down and stomped it.
I cannot remember the exact scenario of that, but I would like to see that.
No,
because
I mean, just bringing it
Remember
up.
when Chad won Abbotsford? Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, that
was 2000. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was like I think it was the first pro wakeboard contest Chad ever a pro tour event that Chad ever won, and it was in Canada, dude.
And
talk about a hyped up crowd, dude.
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
It was
that Abbotsford stop was insane as it was. I mean,
go on, Rucky. What do you got? You got some? What happened?
Well, so generally there was like the Portland stop or like a Seattle stop, or I think it was Portland, right? So we'd hit Portland and then everyone would be in the Pacific Northwest hanging. So we'd do Portland, everyone would hang out, everyone would road trip up to Abbotsford. Sometimes we'd stop at Jeff Here's cabin on the way up.
On Samish, yeah.
On Lake Samish, which was a beautiful, really cool spot, and we'd just hang out and ride and do our thing until we went there. And then Abbotsford is like basically right across the border of Canada. And Canada, in those days with snowboarding, skateboarding, I mean, their embracement of extreme sports, especially, board sports, I mean, was insane. So Chad was I don't know, the Wildcats in the snowboard world, Devin Walsh, that whole gang. I mean, those guys were coming to the Pro Tour stop because Chad was buddies with like a whole crew of those guys. And
that's sick.
We'd go into one of like the big shops was it the Boardroom? Yeah.
So.
The Murray Brothers. They sponsored all kinds of snowboarders.
But the Canada contest, they were electric, man. Like they were
the whole place was just enthralled in the scene. So it was fun. It was fun because everyone that was there because they loved wakeboarding and Canadians loved to party too. So it was
and with Chad being like their front runner going into the final, you know what I mean? Like he was probably the only Canadian in the finals, and then he probably went and won. So it was just
that much sweeter.
Yeah, they probably went nuts because they already were nuts. Like Abbotsford,
it went up.
Abbotsford and Kelowna and all of those events on the west side of Canada are just.
I would never think that.
And that's when all the bus tours were going on. So like we'd load up buses and go into Vancouver and back, and I mean everyone would park. Like this Abbotsford stop was like a big park where like a bunch of buses would line up. So everyone would be back there and everyone would just be hanging out at the stop.
Sick.
Wakeboard pits.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Changing out some bindings. All right. I want to hear your best Wakestock Canada story because we're talking Canada. You guys all been, right? Wakestock Canada.
Wakestock. Oh yeah.
Anything come to mind? I mean,
I got a good one.
All right. There we go, Shane.
I might have mentioned this last time I was on, but it was when we were over there. Is Wakestock Canada is like with the rail event in Toronto, right?
Well, they changed the locations.
Well,
a
yeah,
bunch of times.
remember there was the one that was in Wasaga Beach.
Yeah, mine's the one that has to do in Wasaga, but it was me getting to hang out with Swollen members. And those guys.
Oh yeah, that was
So during we took Rob the Viking, which is the DJ, and Mocha Only, I think, out wakeboarding that afternoon. But we got into the concert and we're like backstage, and this is in mixtape, but I'm with Mocha Only, and he turns to the producer, Rob the Viking. He's like, "Hey, I got the verse for that song we've been working on," and I got my camera right there. And he's like, "You want to hear it real quick?" And I was like, "You mind if I film it?" And he was like, "Not at all," and like turns right towards the camera. And like, I think it's from
the super fish eyed. Like,
I got a big old fish eye. I'm right there, and he raps the whole verse without the beat or anything. Just this verse that he has written that they record, a month or a few weeks later, but right to the camera. And I think it's Lime Green by Mocha Only. And then I'm like filming it, and I'm like, that was awesome. And you even see Watson in the background, like he's like talking to some chick, and he's just like, and he sees Mocha Only rapping to the camera, and he just goes, he's all. But he's like in the background, like freaking out. But we get this, and then later on, the song comes out, and we use the song in the video, and then I have him rapping the raw verse over, it was like sick. And I remember just being like, "This is unreal right now." Yeah, that was my favorite from.
I mean, that's a great story.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
What was the other guys' names in that whole group?
There was I don't even know why. I'm just spacing it.
Mad Child.
Mad Child. Yeah.
Which is his name's Shane.
I was going to say, wasn't there a Shane?
I actually went and partied with him that night too. Me and Jordy went and partied with him, and he was crazy. You could tell why his name was Mad Child. Like he was throwing chairs in the pool and like jumping on cars and shit. I was like, this dude's fucking nuts.
Damn, Wakestock.
I mean, anything else coming to you
which
guys?
one
Rock or Parks?
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to filter out which one can actually be said.
Yeah, there was a lot.
One that kind of stuck out to me. They always the rail contest of Wakestock was just like at the end they had like I think it was in Wasaga Beach. They had all the rails going down the line. And there was like you had to get like an 80-foot pull on like some of these like. And it was just like behind the boat, and you're just like cutting out, hitting rail, cutting out, hitting rail, cutting out, hitting rail, one on the other side, and it was just like mayhem, dude. And it was exhausting as shit. And they gave us this format. They gave you like down back. It was like 6 or like 5 minutes or something crazy. It wasn't even like if you fell, you fell, but it was like you got like 5 minutes. And who really falls on like 80-foot rails, like kind of like thing. So it was just like I remember being so exhausted. And I whip into shore. And like everyone's just like partying like knee deep water right there. And I think like Daniel Watkins and like Joshua was like announcing or something. And I whip into the crowd. I'm in the water, and they hand me like a fresh, cold, like tall boy Coors Light. And they go, "Here's the Parks, he's True Blue." And now there's like 4,000 or 5,000 people on shore singing the song, and they already did it to riders before. So now the crowd knows the song, and I'm like, damn it. And I'm exhausted. I'm about to pass out of breath. And this is the coldest Coors Light tall boy. And I just cannot say no to this like scenario.
Absolutely.
So I go for it and just like power through, probably cheat like the last 2 inches. And I'm just like slamming in the water, and like everyone's going nuts. And I'm just like, I think I know 100%. I turned away from the crowd and just put my mouth next to the water, and just everything just came back up. Like it was, there was no way it was just cold, fresh beer at that point. It wasn't even like bad. So, but yeah,
down and back.
It was just a roller coaster of physical emotions.
Yeah, you can't say no to that when you got 4,000 people. Even if it's just 4 people, you can't say no. I mean,
it's hard to say no to Australians singing that song, much less like them on the mics with a whole crowd full of people.
Yeah, the Wasaga Beach crowd was
The beer
wild.
garden. Yeah, they
was
go nuts.
wild.
Yeah.
When they moved it to downtown Toronto, it was wild. But with the Wasaga Beach crowd, but the cool thing about that is like he was saying, Swollen members and Parks. Do you remember that one year after like the closing band was Goldfinger, and me and you were on stage with them? Like that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Like
Goldfinger.
They just always had like bands and like entertain. It was just like a full encompassing party.
It's just party.
Yeah.
Just a big old party.
And wakeboarding somehow was the center of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with Wakestock. Like,
They really did.
I've only ever heard unreal
it
things
was
about the whole
really
thing.
cool. And it went on for a long time. Like even after it sort of died out and it lost a lot of momentum, like Monster brought us up and we were still doing one, and it was in Collingwood, and it was still amazing. It was like a big old event.
It's cool they changed that venue I think that was like a cool thing that like made that event like kind of evolve through the years and I forget where they did it
Every
first.
couple
like,
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did one in like
Bala.
Bala, like
Yeah.
which is like outside of Muskoka or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Muskoka was
event.
a
Great
good
event.
one.
Missed that one. Bring that one back.
That would be a great one to bring back.
But the cool thing about that event, just one last thing,
Are you
is
good?
that it was Wake. It was before there was, System 2, there was a rail, and then it was Wake Skate. So like it really was an all-encompassing Wake event.
Yeah. Everything involved. Yeah, that is, yeah. It is interesting. I mean, I guess if you were guys to bring back Wakestock Canada, like what would it look like for you? Like format-wise nowadays with what wakeboarding looks like?
honestly,
Would you could do the same thing, run it back?
Pretty freaking close, except for hitting rails behind a boat. Maybe bring hitting rails behind a boat back. I mean, but have a System 2 instead of
They would shuffle around sand on the beach there because I don't know if it's Lake Erie or whatever it is right there. But
Lake Erie,
yeah. So they had like one of the big lakes was all the sand. So they were taking like almost like shuffling sand around and like putting a liner down. So you could probably build a shallow 2.0 kind of like area right
Really?
in the thick of that. That's only like a couple feet deep or something, but it could be like, and then they just like pull the vis screen up and like flatten out the sand and like it's nothing permanent.
Yeah.
You're not using the water from the out like they would.
But where
like,
the people
pump it.
could be literally
People
on
are like
top.
in the same
water
way. Yeah,
with you.
someone's drinking a Coors Light kind of shit.
If they did it the same way as like, let's say they brought in somebody that did the Red Bull events that are, whether it's Wake the City or something, brought them in for the cable park side and then did like a double or nothing
Yeah.
there. That's all they would need. Those two events bring both communities together, like the boat riders and those guys, and have it like two separate things, like in the little city that they wanted to do, whether it's Muskoka or Wasaga or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very easy and very possible. It just would take a bit of effort.
Sure. Yeah. It sounds like the people in the water though with you is really
Well, the,
one of the cool
Canadians
things, man.
love
It is cool.
wakeboarding.
Yeah.
Canadians love wakeboarding because they only get it for a few months of the year, and they thrive. They get out there way more than any other state.
I think the Midwest is
Midwest
the same
is
kind
good.
It's the
Midwest
same.
is good for sure. Like
No,
they
I'm just
love
saying,
it,
like
but
they appreciate summer days more than like us Floridians. Like we take them for granted, just being like there's so
Yeah.
many. Like
I've spent a lot of time.
they're playing
in
wiffle
Canada.
ball. They're doing some fun shit.
absence makes the heart grow fonder, and when you only get a few
No, for
warm
sure.
days, you're gonna be very much so taking advantage of them. We were talking X-Star earlier, Parks, and I want to hear the story behind dropping the X-Star in the pool in your backyard. Other people want to hear it too, but I want to hear it.
Yeah, that was that was an ESPN magazine shoot, and they had the idea. I don't know whose idea it actually was, but
It was mine.
was it yours, Shane?
It was my
You
boat.
came up with that one?
No, that was us.
It was the orange one.
Okay, so what it was is ESPN magazine was doing something with athletes that were in X Games that also had companies. So I think they did Dave Mura, because he had a bike company.
Yep.
They did like 4 or 5 of us. And because we had Pointless going, me and Parks they were like, these are 2. So the idea was like, we need to get a shot of you guys doing this. And for some reason, I think within a few months or whatever before that, it was like, how funny would it be if the boat was in the pool?
I mean, it's sick. Dude.
It's crazy.
It's so sick.
and then like, I remember we called Mastercraft and we're like, if we make your boat, like the main feature of the photo,
Will you allow us to
will
do
you
it?
guys pay for the crane? Because we had to get a full crane out there. I think it was like $5,000, $6,000 to get a crane to lift this thing up and put it in the pool. And even the guys that showed up were like, the crane's like, okay, so what are we doing? And we're putting the boat in
They're
the
gonna hook
pool.
it to the
That's
front,
right.
they're
They were
gonna hook
like,
it to the
they
back.
were like,
and
we don't
then-
even know how to lift a boat, but we'll figure it out. And then they're like, you need to figure out if your pool can handle this weight, because by putting
The
the boat in
displacement or
there,
whatever, yeah.
displacement, and we're like, I think we're good. So we did literally this crane came out and put this boat in the.
And once it got in the pool, it was crazy. But I remember standing there and watching. I think my mom was at work. I think we told dad or something. But my neighbor calls my mom and is like, "There's a boat above your house." And mom and doesn't know what to explain it. So my mom calls us freaking out. And I remember standing there looking up. This crane was huge that had to lift this thing. It
was a little overkill. It was what you needed.
It seemed overkill. It definitely seemed, but it's a heavy. It's a boat, so you don't want it to fall. You don't want it to fall on the house.
Yeah. Also, with the way that the pool was built, there's this big hill, and it has to be on a flat ground. The crane has to be on a flat ground, which is
so they couldn't get super close.
They couldn't get down, so it was massive overkill. But they brought these photographers in that were GQ, crazy good photographers, and they showed up. And they had no clue what they were getting into either, because we didn't even know. We were we're just putting the boat in the pool and we're going to have a pool party. That's how, and everybody else's, Dave Muir's was him working on a bike, scraping down some metal in a workshop. And it was an easy lit. And this dude shows up and we have a crane and we're having a pool party and there's 15, 40 people, a lot of people just hanging out around the pool. We're
You remember the shot that they used too? The shot was she was standing on the diving board in a wakeboard in the boats, and she has the handle, and the shot's through the back of her legs, and you could see her legs are almost the foreground, and you see all of us in the background of the boat, and it's just
and then there's just a shot of me holding
hose, and I'm
holding the VX2 because it's supposed to be around.
Yeah, it's supposed to be we're getting ready to.
It has to be around the
Pointless.
company.
This is what Pointless does.
Yeah, and we're I'm holding the camera. Somebody has a hose just blasting her in the face, so there's water. It was the most insane.
Who was the legs?
I was Chelsea. This is the funny story my mom tells on the other side. Our friend Chelsea Croft. It was her. So our friend Donnie Croft, he drove that Cypress car, and he was driving me when I was 6. He drove me when I was 6 months old on my ski baby, legendary boat driver. And so he had that picture up in his locker. And then so they go, "Hey, Donnie, you got your daughter's butt up in your locker." And he had no idea it was his daughter's. It was his daughter's legs and stuff.
Yeah.
Unreal backstory to that. I love that.
It was a really funny photo shoot just because we were
But when the ESPN man comes out and they bring their photographers, it's like a full on shoot.
Yeah.
It was it was not our typical kind of
and it was supposed to probably be a shot of us filming some wakeboarding or editing or in the studio, us making Pointless, what was Pointless's thing, and we were no, pool party.
No, we're putting a boat in a fucking pool.
Go to the pool party, let's go.
I haven't seen that picture in for a while.
I'll obviously find the picture.
The actual photo, not of the boat in the pool, but the photo that they used in the magazine. It's because it's legs, boat, hose, not
I've never seen that
Wakeboard
one.
magazine.
Hose,
Wakeboard
water
magazine
hose.
used the shot. I think of us you see.
It's from the house or something, up above. Where you see
The
everything.
shot.
That's what I've seen.
The spread that they use for
I haven't seen
and
that.
ESPN magazine was big format. These are huge.
Really?
Yeah, it was we gotta. I bet mom saves everything.
She's probably got it somewhere.
I would hope so. See if I can dig that up in the internet.
It's archived.
It is.
It's definitely archived.
Okay, we got we're diving in. We got another Patreon question from David Verven from Unit. And we're kind of talking about board tech from back in the day. So he's going, "You guys rode stiff foam boards and still hit all those rails. Can you explain to people how that felt? No grind base, destroying decks in the process, not really being able to press or have a feel for the rails and having molded in fins in the way." So I think it's an interesting can of worms to talk to you three about because, hitting rails back then, it happened before and it happened after, but there was some pioneering going on. And I'm curious, how did it feel hitting rails on those boards and made you break?
I don't. So when we were doing that, I don't think we were even thinking, oh man, if we had a soft board or
we weren't aware.
We were more or less, man, if we could hit that, if we could hit a down rail, imagine what it would be like if we could hit a 2-layer rail. You know what I mean? And we were looking at stuff, piling freaking shit up on a floating dock so that we could boost up to something and then hit a down rail. we were more or less in the mindset of how can we hit rails to emulate what all these other sports are doing. We weren't even in the mindset of
The tech wasn't even, you weren't even thinking about
we
it.
weren't even like, oh man, we don't have the right gear to do this. We were like trying to figure out how do we do this to begin with.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it was like almost like survival. It was almost like we were more worried about like what we were hitting. And if you got into a good position, the photo looked sick and you were pressing the tail out, we didn't know at that time what it felt like to press a good board out. And we didn't know the sweet side of what it was going to be. It just felt fucking awesome at the time because like it hasn't really, I mean, only our heroes, Byerly and some Nelson on some jumps, but there wasn't a lot of people, like a lot of like hitting docks or anything kind of like that before. So a lot of it felt like very refreshing. And it was almost like Shane's first cover on Alliance where he's doing the nose press, and like that's Shane literally like trying to do a nose press on this rail, like kind of like on a board that would not bend at all. So it was like,
it was more of a pivot.
Right. Yeah. You're almost like leaning into it, but
we're like, you would just almost get your momentum over it and not put weight, like tons of weight on the rail. You're not landing and pressing on the rail. You were just like getting so you could drag nose and not make it look like you were just touching. You know what I mean? Like
It's like a nose wheelie.
It's like a nose wheelie. But
like
it was almost the art was like to get and to have your momentum go just over the rail that you could
You're just nodding
drag
across the whole
nose
thing,
across it and like because you weren't pressing.
But for
things.
validity, Shane's cover was not a land rock up. He freaking.
It
It
was
a
only-
shorter rail.
It was only nose the whole time. That's all I'm saying.
That's
it wasn't just tap. It wasn't a tap. It wasn't just drag. It was a good.
But even after that, your riding wanted to have a softer board before they were making softer boards. Like the way you did your nose presses, like after that, you were just like on a firm foam board, and he's like doing all he can to get up to the tip, So it was like,
I mean, there's some shots of me doing nose presses on rails where you'll see 95% of my weight all the way on my front foot, just trying to pick up my back foot, and it like picks up enough that it's still just drag. Like the board's not flexing, but I'm getting the tail up, and it was like, you didn't know anything different. Like what he's asking,
to David's
about
question. We didn't really know.
Boards, we were doing anything we could just to get that, and like even like whenever you go like back lip and up on the tail. And you'd like get on the tail, and then you just start almost like trying to shove your tail off of it, but your nose would come up, so it was almost like a little blunt slide. And like we were just doing anything to try to emulate what we've seen skate, snow.
And we didn't. There was no rules at the time. There was no Zeech. There was like no one like we did. There was no one like
snowboarding.
There was no one calling out. It's snowing. Yeah, it was kind of Wild West of like no one's like, oh, you're slightly like no one got called out for anything. It was like build the shit, survive it.
Right.
Don't make sure you don't get killed by a screw or fucking something. Don't ruin your board. Like get some.
We ruined tons of boards.
Okay, so I want to talk about the ruining boards because I mean he was mentioning obviously you guys broke a shit ton of boards. Was there any feedback at any point from any sponsors of like, hey, why are you guys hitting so many fucking rails on these boards? Like,
or can you build them better?
Or can you?
You build your rails a little nicer.
No, they loved it because I mean before that there was PVC pipe rails and they would make little rainbows or little flat bars, and there was things that were more board friendly. But whenever we started making some crazy metal rails or different textured things, like nobody was mad that we were asking for another board after a month or two.
Yeah.
Every company was jumping on what we were doing because we were bringing wakeboarding to a bigger world of a blooming extreme sports industry. You know what I mean?
The whole culture was
exactly.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. I think.
Yeah, there were so many like with X Games and everything blowing up. Exactly like that. The late '90s, early 2000s. They just wanted more. Like anything, keep going crazy, keep going more, like doing crazy shit. And we were the
whatever's
ones
getting attention.
We were the ones.
Boards, keep doing it.
We were one of the few people providing like original, cool shit, not just building a up flat rail out of PVC pipes with hangers. Like we were, making picnic tables and putting jagged rails
And like what Parks was saying, we were more concerned with what we were hitting, how high the alley was, and whatever. And if you could 50-50 it, if you could try to nose press it, if you could legit backlip it, I mean, that's what we were looking for. Like a big ass alley and as much different features or step ups. I mean, gaps where you either had to have a big ass alley or a big gap.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
All right. I'm curious on your guys' thoughts. Nowadays, riders, what can they do? What do you think they could do to kind of not mimic, but like reenact stuff like that where it's like, all right, you either got a big gap, you got a big ollie, this, that, or the other? Because I feel like right now it seems so narrowly focused with what everybody's doing. Like all the boat riders are doing the boat riders thing, the park rider doing the park rider thing. Like
I think all the
how do you stand out?
I think the winch guys, what all of them are doing, like a lot of the like Matty Muncy and a lot of them boys with some of their winch events and just doing these weird toes. Like I've seen some people hang it out over on like a handrail, like little kicker, handrail, close out at the very end, and they're staying on it so long. Like me looking at it from back in the day, we would have never tried to hang out on this rail for that long. Like it would have been hit the kicker, get on the rail, get flat for the photo, and then try to get out safely and not these guys are like, nope, hanging, and you can see them just balancing.
Finessing
like,
it,
Let me go another 40 feet, another 40 feet.
We're only getting fucked up on
there.
We're only getting fucked up on if we slip out on the takeoff of some of these things. But like Shane's right. Like for the amount of times that they hit these rails and go, oh, like I've watched a clip and be like, man, that was sick. And they're like, oh, I'm not satisfied with it. And like, damn, man, and again and again. And Dom and like feel like they'll keep pushing it and pushing it. It's just crazy. And then you watch these edits, like, just coming. Some of the things, like, I mean, you've probably seen it first in some shred towns. I think when Davis or someone like hits some of those walls like straight on, like, it's the consequences are like tip of the beanie to y'all, man, because it is like truly insane. Like the amount that you look fear in the face and like just to get the clip, and you do that multiple times through an edit through the year, man. It's like, if we saw a closeout, chances are we weren't messing with closeouts back then.
But you guys were messing with big gaps, which is a synonym to closeout.
That super long hit that Derry had.
That's exactly what came to mind.
That's what I was thinking.
From the street jam, where he did, I think he just cab two, and he's like, or it's front two.
That was insane. And honestly, when we look back on our first whatever we were talking about in the beginning, Derry's a badass.
Oh, Rushmore?
Derry.
Yeah, Derry is badass. Like I've said it too in the past. I was like, that dude is a very original. I
thought Derry could have won Rider of the Year, like maybe a couple years ago. I feel like
I think there's a couple times he could have won Rider of the Year, and it's
he was my vote like a couple years ago. I was like, and you see like how much his influence and like the weird kind of bonky flips from grass, like he's just so creative of the way he goes about it.
And then he executes it so well, which is very rare. Yeah, I think Derry is like. There's almost a list of like people who could have, not should have, but could have won Rider of the Year. He's at a very high part of that list.
I mean, he hits so much shit that can take you out in an instant, man. And I've watched him do it over and over.
And
like the same thing, he gets used to it. I'm like, dude, this seems like a one and done kind of hit to me. And then he's just
figuring
keeps
it out.
Going and figuring it out. I'm like, it's wild, man. It's all y'all. It's a whole nother level.
Not to go back, but there was one year that Daniel Grant should have won Rider of the Year.
Yeah, DG also. We didn't bring him up either.
Because he was so young. He was like 15, and they were like, I think Alliance is kind of like, he's only going to grow, he's only going to get better, so we can't give it to him now.
I think Cole said that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy he didn't win it when he...
In his prime, like when he should have.
Like it's just wild. Like he was.
Seems like to not give it to someone because you assume that they're going to have better years. It's just you.
I feel like
you have to tip the cap.
You take everything else out of it and you look at what was this year.
Yeah.
Was he the best?
But if you truly do it good, you can win it twice like
I
Randall,
think you can
know?
win it twice. Like I think I don't know who I was talking to, but they're like, you can't win it twice. Like that shouldn't be a thing.
People are maybe
Fuck
arguing
that, it
twice.
should be a thing.
Yeah,
They're arguing twice in a
totally
row, maybe, but like
Even if it's twice in a row, what if you have two of the
yeah.
best seasons ever?
If no one else is a contender,
Tom Brady won the Super Bowl twice in a row. What?
Yeah.
It happens sometimes. I don't know.
So on the secondary,
there's another dairy.
The secondary?
Oh, no.
Or are you saying secondary?
Secondary.
secondarily speaking,
No, what was the first thing called? The Mount
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. We got DG and we got Derry on there.
Oh yeah, on the secondary. So if there's 6 people on the Mount Rushmore,
It's a wakeboard Mount Rushmore.
if they would have kept going along the whole side of the mountain,
if they would have chiseled out the whole thing.
You're giving this engineer a headache. He's like, wait, what now?
we're adding 2 more faces, and when you're done with those, we'll probably have a third. But
Oh, I love it. All right, we got another Patreon question from Ollie Jerome.
nope.
This is a good one. This is a good one. This
I'm
is
just
nothing
joking.
wrong.
I know.
This is good. He's wondering who is the best backyard grass rail rider pulled behind the 50cc. We don't need a ranking. We just need the best.
Do you remember
Yeah,
right
no,
next to your
before
room
winching.
coming out of the studio?
Before winching.
Yeah.
All right, so for the people who don't know.
when we towed a computer first?
Yeah, we did. We towed the computer.
For the people who don't know, explain what this whole
Okay,
situation
so
is.
there was a sidewalk right next to our house, like a tiny little sidewalk, like path, and this is like the first pool ever built for just like, let's just put a little pieces of wood, put a little plastic in there, and we made just a tiny little pool, and then we put a rail, but the rail didn't go into another pool or anything. It just went into
It just went into the.
It just went into grass. It's very terribly done. And this is before we had like a winch to pull it, so we pulled it with a little 50, like a little motorbike. And nothing, it's really tough to say if anybody was actually good at any of it because we were probably a little buzzed up and nobody really did
We'll
it.
say Shade won now.
Yeah, Shane won. You took that.
Yeah,
Shane took that.
It was just board sliding. I don't think anybody was doing tricks. It was more like just to see if we could get across it. It reminded me of like when you see the people build a snow park in their backyard and they just drop in on a platform, like a little piece of plywood, and then they hit a rail and then they jump off and it's
in the
done.
grass or whatever.
That's it.
Yeah.
The whole thing's like 60 feet long.
Love it. All right.
10 of us going, oh!
He's also wondering, are there any triple up whip stories or highlights you guys can think of?
Oh, man.
Obviously, the best triple up whip is Parks' double that he did, and I think shafted.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's
put that in.
it's so clean.
That's one of my faves.
It's so clean to just whip it around double and just land and right away. Because the triple up whip it's just weird to be mocking
Again,
it so fast.
We got a lot of cable riders who listen to this. So what is a triple up whip?
Okay, a triple up whip is something that I came up with back in the day, and it's the boat. The boat goes and it turns and it makes this really big chunky wake, and then instead of the boat, like a double up, the boat goes back through and bounces through the wake. But on this one, the boat just starts to drop. It drops the throttle full speed, and then you turn hard before it. So you do a super high speed whip at this like condensed like wake energy, and so it's really fun because you let go of the rope and you come in, and so it's like wakeboarding at like 45 miles an hour, and then you're hitting like a snowboard, like it feels like it's a little roller. It's probably about as big as Shane's shoulders, but it's like pretty big. but it's just cool. It's a form of like just like it happens really fast. You just let go and you hit this like wave, and you could fly like 50, 60 feet, not in the air, but like in distance. You're flying like so fast. And it made it feel like snowboarding, that you would come in and you have to like navigate your way into this triple up and kind of like initiate all your spin and everything with no rope. So it felt just like kind of free, like snowboarding.
Yeah.
And it was just like chaotic as shit. And it was just like really fun to do.
Yeah, like whenever you let go, whenever you're taking the whip, you're going fast because the triple up roller is down there, and if you need enough speed to not only get there but hit the roller, do a trick, and then land and still roll out. So you got to be going fast.
And that's the beauty
when
of
it
the
whips,
whip,
when
right?
the boat whips,
You land
you
and
are
still have
like,
enough.
you're like, and then you let go, and you're like,
It's not even just the fact that you're hauling ass at a single roller. You're hauling ass at a group of rollers. You're trying to hit not the first roller. You have to kind of absorb, suck up, tranny the back of one into the money.
It's like kind of like a pump track situation.
Exactly.
And everyone is completely different. And everyone is moving, and they are never. As soon as you think you have it, as soon as you think you have it dialed, you don't. Like it took like there's one I did like with Brandon Meek driving on. I forget what video. I think it was in like. I think it was on Miscellaneous, which is a great old school video that you do not hear too often. Shout out Brandon Meek. Miscellaneous is wild. It's in that one. That was the very first one we tried that day. And I liked it. It was the same one as Shafted, probably even going faster, and just high speed whip connected, double toe back roll, and like landed with like going, I landed going like 20 miles an hour.
Oh, it's so
it was like, it was epic.
Speaking of double ups, triple ups, and ever, next week or whenever you do Jimmy LaRich, I know he's coming up
tomorrow.
Yes.
Bring up Brandon Meek and Jimmy LaRich double up battle that they had a feud living on Clear Lake. They legitly had a feud.
Brandon Meek thought he could beat Jimmy LaRich in Jimmy's prime, not Brandon Meek's prime, in a double up contest. All based off of
the fact that Brandon Meek drove the original double up contest at SeaWorld.
Yeah,
well, Brandon would hit some big ass tantrums back in the day,
and he invented the OHH also.
But this all started because Brandon Meek stole Jimmy's boat for a few minutes.
Well, now you don't need a story from Jimmy.
No, but yes, you want it from.
Let's not overtell it. Let's let Jimmy tell the story.
Well, let's But
or if he wants to or not. Well, too bad, Jimmy.
He's telling it.
I will go back to the triple up whips and say that for a long time too, we would, at least I know I would, only hit triple up whips and try to do a method to blind. Like just do a really good method, poke it, and then just keep that spin going just a little bit to blind. And it almost never works out. And you catch an edge, or you don't,
or you just dive out of it.
But that was some.
And it's a feeling the triple ups they didn't blow up, they didn't get super popular. But like I tell you this, like it is one of the funnest, craziest things. Like I encourage all wakeboarders at some point. And honestly, it's harder to do nowadays with the wakeboard boats being as heavy as they are, and kind of the agility they have to kind of go fast. Like what's that? The new X-Star. Yeah, take the cruise controls off of this one. New X-Star would be perfect for us. Like, this is
you don't need the weight in it. Just,
no, but you're right. It's just like, but the more weight, they kind of got sluggish, so it made it hard to get really to that high speed kind of like me and Bob were doing them like I don't know, it was probably a while ago. Time flies, we have fun, but like we were using Sea-Doos to tow in, like so we would build it with a fully weighted wakeboard boat, and then whip in on Sea-Doos, and you go on a Sea-Doo, you're going faster than you want to go.
Yeah. Bring that back, though. Bring back the triple up whip, I feel like.
I need to do a La Familia day with triple ups and educate them on the... they're pretty dangerous. I don't want to hurt the kids.
Remember Pukey Pete hitting the devil?
That was the best.
hitting triple.
We had real quick, he was a freestyle jumper, like a show skier. He lived with me and Ruck back in the day. And he would try anything we told him, and he was just talented.
No,
he was just talented enough to like get close and to get it done.
To get it done.
Yeah, well, no, not to make it, but like to come close to where it was entertaining for us to tell.
Jumper.
And so we'd be like, "Yeah, dude, I'm kinking it up. We'll whip you in." I go try it. He goes, he tried one. And I go on the next one. I go try a double on this. And he goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, dude, you connected on that one. You're going to send it on this one. This one's going to be huge." And he would just come in and huck the hardest double and not get the he didn't know no better. I felt it was great.
It was beautiful.
Pete.
All right. Parks has a present.
Yep, we got a present.
What do we got?
Well, I didn't first time I came to Grab Matters, I didn't bring a gift for all the memorabilia on the wall and whatnot. So not to give this away, but it's an ice.
So that's what for the listeners, this box could very well hold a big ice.
It is a perfect, yeah. It
It's the
would be,
perfect
but if you
size.
pick it up,
You pick
that
it up,
doesn't
it's not an ice.
clearly not an ice.
Well, I don't think so, at least. I don't want to fuck up the box. Whatever. Oh, shit. What is this?
Okay, so this came in the 2005 Double or Nothing invitation.
Oh yeah.
It came with poker
my
chips and it came with a cigar. That's pretty old. I wouldn't recommend smoking that. Or you could, but
definitely.
And then the card was like the card you had to get into like the after party. There's that Spy Bar. Shout out Spy Bar.
That is unreal.
That's a
I'll
good-
put
Yeah,
photos in.
that
for
is
the
a
listeners.
great nostalgic gift, peeps.
Holy
Yeah, it's a
shit.
good one. And, you know, maybe you take the poker chips out, shuffle them around. You can throw them around, but they're
Yeah, no.
That's
They're
thank
pretty
you
good. Yeah,
so
they're
much,
red-
Parks.
yeah,
That's
they're
so
like red-
sick. Damn. I'll put photos in, obviously, for the viewers to see.
I didn't know what to get. I was cleaning out my room. today. I
That's
was
a
going through it. I was
freaking.
like,
That is a
That's a
sick
gem.
one.
As soon as
With
he
the-
opened it and I saw the case, I was like,
Oh yeah,
that's good.
the poker chips.
Poker chips.
Red Bull just does it so sick, dude.
shout out Sean Dishman. That was Sean Dishman. He came up with the whole idea of the
Shawnee
invite,
D
man.
always,
Shawnee D
always came up with
delivered
the
on some-
ideas for the those types of
For
things.
invites and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. He was great.
Above and beyond. That's so sick. Thank you. Yeah, I'll put
we're
that up
gonna
and
have
I'll
a
just
nice
put photos
little-
in.
We'll have some poker chips and a cigar.
Is that your Dishman impersonation? That's pretty good.
2005 Double or Nothing. Yeah, who won?
Keep it on the
Who won,
DL.
who won the 2005 one? You remember, Parks?
Oh man.
Josh Sanders.
Did he really?
I think that was.
I think it was
Sanders.
Josh Sanders, and I think did Rusty win Big Air? Maybe
I think Chad.
no,
won. I
no,
think Chad.
Chad. Chad won.
that was the year Rusty was standing on the front of the X Star. and
Yep.
he was
That
like,
was the one?
Yeah.
Chowder.
yeah.
Chowder booted the glide, and Josh Sanders did
Heel
the
nine.
heel 9. Yeah.
Well,
Look at the memory on
Dude, Ruck
and
is a
actually-
freaking
well, we-
elephant, dude.
no,
like
we-
it is amazing. Like
Well,
Ruck.
I edited and
Ruck's
made the
memory
video.
is
So Dan
impressive.
Harf actually made a heel 9 too.
The next year, I think.
No, I think somebody else made a heel 9. Josh Sanders made it better.
It was bigger, and I think he grabbed it
I
good.
think he grabbed it good.
Well, if you grabbed it good, then we're all right there. That's interesting. So you had 2 heel 9s and the better one took it. That's cool. Didn't know that.
Riders judged that one, I think.
But
Yeah.
Chad definitely won hands down biggest air. That was like.
Do
one
you
of the
remember when
biggest-
they?
That wasn't when it was on Clear Lake.
They counted it out the frames. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
okay.
the
Is this
Clear
when
Lake.
they counted the frames?
Yeah. Chad.
This is 2004, the
that
first
was
year.
probably one of
I think it's still the biggest air.
the biggest double up ever done. Possibly.
It was so big. Yeah. And even like judging Chad's, like, so counting out the frames, like guessing the camera films, 30 frames per second. And then we would count out who was from when takeoff was to landing. Chad's, I don't remember how many frames, but it was, I want
I
to
think
say
it was like 54 frames
I
or
want to say
something.
54
to 56
56
is what it was, yeah.
I think, and then the next person was at like 48. Like it was like,
Well, you just look
half
at the
seconds
you look at
longer.
the physics of like the way Chad hit that double up. Like even nowadays, the biggest some of the biggest double ups done nowadays is like when Steele and Rusty maybe like a couple years ago did those tantrums off the double up, and those were all off of like fully weighted X stars and just the biggest triple ups. I was driving that day, like I was kinking these things up as big, so they're getting into this super deep pit and going up, but they were hitting tranny at the same time too. So maybe their max height could have been higher than Chad's, but Chad came in ripping at this thing, probably a slightly open double up, and rode the ridge like to the moon.
Hitting tranny off a double up isn't in Chad's vocabulary.
and there's something to say too, that whenever you're taking that like angle out and you're going up for so much longer, like they're
get the
going
second
up
pull.
and down, but Chad's like
Got
still
the second
going
pull.
up as they're already coming down, and then Chad's dropping. Like Chad,
and Chad's using the pendulum.
It's the same way like
to ride.
like
He's
ski
riding.
jumpers. Ski jumpers
Exactly.
get a certain pull. Like when you're cutting super hard, like they'll get a pull off the top, but then they'll get another pull like a little bit through it that like
Really?
pulls them again. If you get out just outside of the pendulum, and then that pulls you to the flat spot of like the swing.
So it's
Chad
less.
Well, that's why like
It's physics. It's physics.
physics,
For sure,
but
It's physics.
that's why Darren would capitalize this. Like Darren would go so big back in the day to where he would do like front to blinds, and like no one, if you landed out past the bubbles trying to front the blind, it's just gonna like eat you. But like Darren would go so big to where he would get the rope tension becomes like less after you get that big pull from in the middle of his like front to blind. So it's like
That's fascinating.
Yeah. There's a moment where,
DG kind of does that same when Daniel Grant goes really big off the
Yeah.
kickers, that big like when he does those fives and shit, like he like it's hard. I mean, he could land anything, but he's using the same physics of like Chad's double up to getting that almost that like second pull. I'm sure cable's like a little bit different than boat and stuff, but like
Yeah, but probably the same physics, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
stuff like
something's
that,
if it's pulling this way, it's not just dropping here. You're getting a moment of like
when you're
a
connected,
whip.
so it wants to
You're
pull you
whipping.
back.
Yeah,
Like-
but it's not just pulling you down. It's like pulling you around, so you're like getting a little bit momentum, and
but that's why I think Chad's was
It's
the big.
physics.
That's why he had
It's
more
physics.
he had more loft
It's
and kind of
physics.
just more frames.
we'll teach you about it later.
Ruck says it's physics.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
physics.
teach you about it later, but it's nothing for these viewers. They can't handle the knowledge that we're about to drop on them. So.
Oh man. Okay. I got one for Ruck. So your intro to Incomplete. I'll put the videos in right now.
Brakes unlocked. You're never gonna finish. That is not disqualified. No, dude, the brake. You know, Mark Bain broke the front brake. That's your back. I tried to, and then one is right. Is right. And then it says, no, this federation. No, Eric, you didn't drink your beer. This federation. Eric, you didn't drink your beer. You get to re-go, man. Yeah, that's right. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. That stuff I said about the federation.
You're ripping around a pit bike, and I want to know what the rules of the race were. Because you were mad at the Federation.
Super mad at the Federation.
Well,
I want to know the rules.
just to let you know,
And what rules did you break?
I am probably by far the worst pit bike rider of all time.
Well said.
I don't want
all
excuses.
time.
Ruck. I don't want excuses.
I gave it all. I gave it hell. I mean, back in
You
the
gave
day,
her hell.
I gave her
You pinned
hell.
her.
But there was one situation where I think was on my game, and the Federation fucked me.
Oh.
No, I know what
Rigged
it was.
situation.
I think I know what it was. It was a relay race.
Oh wait, but I
had to
think I took back what I said about the Federation.
You did take it back.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Wait, so you had to,
For the listeners, the video clip will be put in here.
All right, so there was a moment of it was a relay race where you need to drink a beer, do a lap, drink a beer, or where I think this is where the Federation and where Ruck's argument becomes.
And the Federation was Parks.
Of course.
I pay property taxes.
Parks just was always a rule keeper on all of our events.
I wish we could watch it right now because I will remember it if I did see it, but it had to do with the fact that the bike didn't stop, or he did finish a beer, and then whenever he went again, the Federation was like, "No, you were wrong," and he said, "Fuck the
He
Federation."
did say fuck the Federation.
Which is the no.
I mean, the Federation's not going to be happy about that. The Federation is not going to be happy about that.
They're not going to be happy about it.
Rightfully so.
And then he stated his case, or the Federation stated their case, and then he understood and he said,
No.
take that back.
I stated my case. The Federation heard it, and I think I got
reinstated.
cleared.
I'll put the clip
I think
in
I
right
got
now.
cleared, and then I said, I think I said, I take back what I said about the Federation.
I like how
That
it's
is a
just like,
direct quote. You do.
I like how I'm trying to verbatim a conversation that happened in like 1998.
Yeah, this is
After how many beers?
It's honestly one of my favorite too, because back then we did ride a lot of 50s and we did do a lot of drinking relays, and I think it had to do with the figure eight, and at one point you had to jump over a refrigerator that had two doors.
It was the sketchiest course
It was
ever.
sketchy.
It was two
sketchy.
doors that were taken out of the house that were placed on the refrigerator to jump over it, and there was a moment of drinking in between there, and yeah,
It was not a good idea. It got more and more competitive, and we got more and more drinks went down, and there was 50 with a jump over a refrigerator. So
Played with fire.
Just do as this contest evolved, it was not good. We escaped clean, no stitches,
Not a helmet.
just a conversation about the Federation that was frankly not acceptable, but.
The clip was funny because
It got cleared. It got cleared up.
the Federation handled it all. It was all cleared up.
Yeah.
Played something.
It got cleared up.
It was funny because you were like, I take back what I said about the Federation. The next clip is you pulling away on the 50cc.
That is honestly one of my. That's my favorite.
Things to
intro
do in Lake Alfred.
That's my favorite intro to.
But that's how we entertained ourselves for a lot.
Oh, we did a bit of freestyle and a bit of DJing back in the day too.
God, that was even brutal.
Hey, we got some mics, boys. Should we do it?
No.
I mean, we're in the
My
Pointless
name
era.
is Shane, and I'm here to sit. No, I'm just joking.
You already started.
They keep
No,
running.
but PB was DJ Red Eye, Shane was Doc Spicoli, and I was Elemento. Those were our hip hop
Those are the names.
Elemento.
That's a good one.
Yeah, those are our hip hop names,
AKA Mozart.
aka Mozart.
That's a heavy claim, Ruck.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it was AKA.
Also known as
Elemento, aka Mozart.
who are anybody else have any?
Oh yeah,
Weinecker
What
was
do we got?
in
What do we
there.
got?
D Harf was D9 or no
D9's
D
good.
Block.
Oh, D Block.
D Block.
Yeah,
D Block's.
D
Block might be the best one.
Nick was NIC.
yep.
Very, very original. The NIC.
The NIC.
Name was Nick.
Vandal used to drop some bars
Oh,
back in the day.
yeah, Vandal.
I don't think he would ever.
Here's
do
the
it
Michael
with us.
Jordan of Borden.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Borden. That was the signal.
Those are facts, though.
Yeah, no, those are
Oh, and those are bars. Those are real bars.
those are his bars.
Those are
He
real
dropped
bars.
Yes.
real.
And he would never rap with us. We were
No,
definitely
no.
never.
Well,
He would never spit with us.
You would just look so bad,
Me-
bad next to him.
me and Parks did go out to his house and we stayed for like a week and we
dropped it down.
We did. He didn't bring Rock in.
No, Elemento couldn't hang.
No. But Vandal let Dr. Spicoli and DJ Red Eye in on it.
Yeah.
All right,
What
so
a time to be
we're
alive.
talking Pointless. I mean, we got a lot of questions on standout Pointless memories. So this is obviously you're gonna have to dig back into the memory bank here. But is anything jumping out to any of you guys about a standout memory you guys had as a squad hanging out? back in the-
Keep it quick because these are kind of there's probably a lot of good memories that are going to come up here.
Yeah, no, I'll go.
Do
quick.
one each if you can. Yeah, one quick one each.
One, I mean, it's a good one. It's the picnic tables that we built a lot of our rails off of. Like almost all of this stuff we built off of these 3 picnic tables that me, Chad, and Danny and I forget. I think Ruck might have. I don't know who was with us, but we went up to the local school, literally 3 or 4 blocks away from the house, and stole these picnic tables like straight from
Borrowed.
No, I don't think we borrowed them. I don't think we ever brought them back.
Stolen.
That's what
Well, no, we're good. It's been over 7 years.
I think we're good. Yep.
Statute of limitations. Is that what they call it?
But we stole these picnic tables, and it was I remember us stealing these things. We broke our friend's tail light whenever we were putting them in the back of the truck. But it was the basis of all of these
Was that
rails.
Steven's truck?
It was Steven's truck. Yeah, it was Steven's truck. But there was a lot of things that we stole for rails back then, and a lot of those were moments of us building and doing something together that was like
That was
completing
the
a task,
moment.
completing a task of us kind of being like, oh my
Idea, get the stuff,
Yeah.
build.
Those were cool ones. I mean, obviously there's thousands of
There's
memories.
so many randos. I got 2 random ones that I really love, and they're both at your mom's house. I love in Incomplete. There's a time lapse of all of us hanging out in Shane's room, like the editing studio that had 2 bunk beds, couches, a TV with, at that time, what was it, PlayStation or whatever Tony Hawk was on.
I think Xbox and we were playing Amped, but carry on.
No. It was before. It was like the first Tony Hawk skater.
Fair enough. Then yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Pro Skater 2?
Yeah. And we were just sitting there, and the whole gang, we'd all come down. It was everyone would huddle up, and everyone would take turns working on their sections. Like everyone, Shane was like the main person that knew how to work everything, had everything organized, and every rider sat down with Shane and worked on their individual section. But those sessions where the whole gang was there watching, even if someone was working something, everyone would be looking over the shoulder, watching the clips and being hyped on everything. And, you'd run around, shenanigans would be happening. And
everything we were filming was only like 200 feet away, like in the lake. So it was like, it happened. It was like we would film, dump it.
Exactly.
Like it was like we were filming and putting clips on top of the section that was
But
already edited. Like
the whole gang hanging out, editing, like it was like so much of a group thing. Like I've never been a part of anything after that was such a, no matter what it was such a group effort that like everyone cared about everyone else's shit. Like you'd be watching something and everyone, like if you said like had something going on in your edit, like if it wasn't working out, like there'd be a million suggestions because everyone was there being a part of the whole,
watching it real time, seeing it.
Yeah, and it was such a cool thing to be a part of, to have a whole movement of people that were our whole point of what we were doing, was
or lack thereof.
Yeah.
or lack thereof, or pointless. Yeah, no pun intended. But we were all working for the same movement, and everyone had each other's back, and it was just such a. It was cool, man. It was just freaking cool. And another thing that I really loved is when we decided to graffiti the half pipe at your house.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like the.
It was just really horrible graffiti.
Yeah.
Oh, son.
No, but yeah, like editing with everybody, like it was cool because I would be at the computer and each one would come and take 30 minutes, whatever, however long, and just sit down and go, okay, let's plug in a few shots. And we'd like look through all of these. They go, yeah, let's go to this. They'd be picking their song. They'd be doing everything. They edited all of their sections, but I was like sort of moving the mouse and doing the keys, but each one would like take a moment and like come and do this, and then they would walk away, and then Parks would come in, and then we'd work for a second, and Parks would leave, and then Francois would come. Like it was a moment of all of us sitting around.
There
and
definitely
while we're
wasn't
working
many videos edited kind of like in this.
And in the middle,
Yeah.
everyone would just be ganged up watching. If
Watching
something
it.
sick was going on, everyone would be like, ah.
And then their opinions, everybody's opinions, like Dan or Grubb would be sitting back there, and Ruck would be like, no, I think my mob goes here, and Ruck or Danny would be like, no, go with that front board, go with the little front mob, and then let's go into this, and like everybody was contributing and helping everything.
to everyone's section. Yeah.
It was very, and like just all the way down to picking the song and being like, no, I want this, and everybody was doing it.
But
so
it wasn't to the
personal,
point where
so
it was
personal.
like contentious, where it was like you guys are arguing. It's more of
No,
like we're
no,
all
no,
going
no,
the same
no.
direction. We just have
Everybody
little,
was like,
No, there was-
super
That's so cool.
friendly.
There was
Yeah.
never arguing over any
Any
of
of
that
it, yeah.
stuff. Never.
That's sick.
It wasn't ever anyone trying to manage what was going on.
And no outdoing of anybody. Everybody had their own personal styles, and we knew everything was looking a certain way. Like even once everybody's picking these songs, it was like, like Ruck's going with this Zeppelin song, so the next one's going to be,
Can we get
this
right
one,
to it?
this
It
is-
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was like it was
Let's
crazy.
open up with Ramble On.
Yeah, rights don't matter on VHS, baby.
Absolutely not.
Our whole goal, or I don't want to say our whole goal, but there was definitely a moment of being like, let's make sure that this video gets big enough that we get a cease and desist, and because we were using
Chalk that up as a win.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. All right, Parks, you got to.
I would a one that sticks out to me that I kind of like is Alliance did an Ollie contest at the projects, and so Pointless. Yeah, and this is right in the heyday of like Pointless, and we roll up, and we're thinking I have my shorts rolled up. I thought I was going to take this down. Everyone like could be Watson or anyone, and you know what? They run through the whole contest. Everyone goes through. Who wins the Ollie contest from the Pointless crew? You wouldn't think this one. Brian Grubb, the wake skater. Honestly, Grubb probably hasn't put on a wakeboard in like probably like 4 years at this point, probably. And then he goes out and takes down everyone, wins the Ollie contest. Or no, it wasn't really close with Colin
Wright.
Colin Wright. And it came down to, I think they both tapped like the highest one, and it came down to like chugging a beer. And what was on the line was like this
a cooler full. Francois
not
cooler.
just a small cooler, like it was one of those. Like,
Francois cooler. Francois Electra, full of beers.
Remember
Francois
Artie Crable was with us? Do you remember Artie from Fall Line?
But I'm pretty sure we had all of the beers in Francois' cooler of his Electra. Like it was like a big trunk full of beers, right?
Yeah,
No,
like that old car.
but it was on, and they was like, it was stacked up, but not even like iced. These things were like, there were so many beer, you couldn't have put more
sardined in
beers.
there.
Sardined in this thing, dude, with ice on top. And like we ended grubbing it up, winning that thing, and we took the whole cooler, loaded it up, went back to Lake Alfred, the whole crew, and we just like put it in the fridge and just like
Went to town.
partied on the waste skater Brian Grubb taking down the Ollie contest, dude. I fucking love that memory, dude.
But do you remember also the there was a not an asterisk or there was so Grubb would come in.
And do the bunny hop.
No. Colin Wright did the pre-hop. Did the Ollie pre-hop Ollie, and Grubby just did the standard load Ollie.
I think Grubby takes it then.
Yeah, do you remember that whole pre-hop?
Yeah.
Well, the pre-hop, you get harder water, so you get a firmer kickback, is what I get. From when if you do a pre-ollie, I think you get.
I think that
fresh,
I think
hard
your water.
water.
I think the water is harder that you're pushing off of, but I think your tail wouldn't go as deep maybe with that as two.
I'd be curious to see someone like a Trent Stuckey, like give him both options, see where you can get higher.
I think it.
I don't know.
Have him
Well, I
test
don't
the
think-
theory.
Yeah, have him test the theory. Like, have someone test the
I think
theory.
there's different techniques. Like I don't think if you do a pre-hop, then you don't know how to load the tail on a no hop. Like, if you were just asked Trent to do it, if he's more of a pre-hop guy, then he's going to be like, the pre-hop's better.
You know what I think that comes down to? Physics.
Fuck.
Ruck spitting truth over here.
No, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough argument.
Well, I mean, the argument is no pre-hop looks better, so we can settle it there.
I will settle it right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Pre-hop.
Well, and I think that's what settled the match originally.
As it should have. Yeah. You can't ollie then ollie. It's an ollie.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
I got
Colin Wright can't even do flips. I mean, right? I mean, that's like,
Right.
I know he can. He has, but he doesn't.
well, if you don't, can you? What was the sketchiest rail you guys made back in the day? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, I mean,
Sketchiest.
so many.
Which one was saved?
I think,
Yeah.
I think the one that was made that I don't think anybody hit was Chad's Rainbow or Chad's Giant.
Well, there's
Didn't he do
two.
one?
There was Chad's Rainbow,
built-
and then
Chad
Chad's Gap.
Yeah.
Chad had PB. Just break down the list real quick. Just,
I mean, I
just
wanna
sum
be-
it
I
up
almost
quick.
wanna leave
Sum it
this
up
for
quick.
Chad.
Sum it up quick.
Yeah, he had Chad's Gap. He had a few rails that were like Chad built, and they were huge, and he just like never ended up like hitting. But it was like Chad's Gap was sick at the projects. It was like an 8 foot straight wood, like 8 foot wide, and it was like probably like 10 feet tall, and it was over about 130, probably like 130 feet of grass, with a rope going straight over the top, pulled by a jet ski or a boat, however he was going to pull it. But it was just like, when he built it, I was like, there's no way. And then he actually never hit it. But I give a tip of the cap to Chad. This is like the greatest marketing ever, because Chad built this huge gap. This is right when the project's, Pat's pulling people all day long out in front of there. And so Chad's got this huge jump and like this body of water way the fuck over here. And everyone who saw it was like, what is this? And everyone goes, oh, this is Chad's Gap. Chad's going to jump from this lake from here to there. And like, damn,
It was either,
Chad's crazy.
It was either really stupid or
Chad's
genius.
Wow. But it was up there for like 3 or 4 months, and it just never
hit it,
never actually hit. Never. Thank God Chad never hit that.
I mean, 130 feet is absolutely insane.
I'm going with genius, Shane.
I think it is more genius.
It is genius. All of Chad's gaps were super genius. I mean,
the rainbow one he built at Nick and Jules' house. It was like this huge rainbow rail, like 15 feet tall, 60 feet wide, no side curtains on this whole thing. Like if you fall off this, you're getting plinkoed through cross braces and stuff.
But not just no skirts or anything like that. This thing had a floor that was floated by
50-gallon.
This was a floating rail?
by drums.
Yes.
It was by drums.
And it had to be transported.
There was no platform on top
even got
of this spider web of 2x4s that held all the barrels underneath it.
Yeah, it was probably it was probably like 12 feet wide.
Yeah. You had a humongous rainbow with this unskirted skirt of
Dude, it was
to answer your question, any rail that Chad built is the most dangerous
rail
The list
anyone
of
could hit.
most dangerous rails is all just Chad's rails.
Yes.
So he wanted to hit it at ODub. He wanted to hit it at ODub, but it was built in Nick and Jules' backyard. So after it's built, he cuts it in half.
No, 3 pieces. He cut it into 3 pieces.
And then he loads it up on a trailer. Him and Danny drive it down to ODub, reassemble it, float it, look at it, and go, nah.
which is bold, which is very smart
and brave
very
and
good.
smart.
Yeah, it's very amazing of Chad to look at this rail that he built and took a lot of time on and said, "I'm not doing it," because that's not something he did.
It's harder to do that.
And that's why Chad's never had a knee injury.
Yeah,
it's harder to do that than
no.
it is to
Honestly,
have.
there's a lot of crazy ones. I can say one of the more weird ones that we built, besides anything that Chad made, was we did it was a picnic table up, but you had to ollie onto the picnic table, and then it was 2 picnic tables here with a handrail on top.
The one you had your cover on.
Yes, but it was modified in the sense that when there was the picnic table in front that you had to ollie onto, and then like it was.
But that's what it was.
That's the one Mega Major got.
The one Mega Major really got, like, some of our rails we didn't realize how dangerous they were until other people besides like the
crew
Pointless
who's used to hitting on
hit
it,
them.
yeah.
Like we would let other people hit them, and then you'd see somebody get broke the fuck off real hard, and you go, "Holy shit, this is bad."
Hey,
like,
Wine Rack got broke off on that too.
Right, Wine Rack because one
That's
of them.
Nick.
So we had 2 picnic
Weinecker.
we had
Yeah.
2 picnic tables stacked on top of each other with a handrail that was drilled into the top of it like this. So if you missed the gap and ran into the rail or the picnic table, it didn't move. It would like you would be buckled, and that's what happened one time. Megan Majors, we let her hit it. I don't know why. It was a very bad idea, but she ollied on and then just chicken legged up and then hit this picnic table in front. But like somehow her board hit the leg of the picnic table and it just flipped her over the whole thing.
It was like an ollie bounce that you had to do on this pit. It was like a 2-foot ollie. So ollie bounce.
And the picnic table's only as long.
It was like
the up was 1 picnic table's length.
So short. That's like
So
a board
short.
length.
It's like this.
Yeah.
It's
But
literally
what
like
it taught you how to do is
react fast.
Quick feet. You gotta quick
react
feet. Yeah.
real fast.
Because you wouldn't ollie to get on here. You would ollie back here
Before
so you
you land on
landed
it.
here.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then by the end of this table, you would have to push
Yeah.
off again.
If you late ollied, you were fucked.
Yeah. So that's where we kind of all, I mean, I don't think that we realized that we were that like better than like different people for hitting it, but we had knowledge that when somebody else came down and hit rails, they would not like.
Yeah, unless you
Yeah.
got a resume
It was like
of
a
hitting
long,
shit like this.
it was like a long run of us just doing.
they
hitting
weren't
these picnic
safeguarded
tables.
rails by any means.
Well,
dude.
and-
Like they
and
were as raw as the rawest winch spot. Like there's no
Yeah.
And we
like
went
seamless
through
like
them.
fabricated plastic kind of like if you there was no room for error on.
Well, and you also got a variable
So-
pole because you got a jet ski or a
You-
boat. It's not
you-
a winch.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
like
whole nother.
Have you ever
fucking-
seen the clip in like Shafted where PV he hits that big up, does that back, what is it, 450?
on the big house rail?
Yeah, the big house.
Yeah,
rail.
back 450.
That back 450. So what that up rail was a ladder that we cut down from
Chad stole.
Well, Chad stole it, yes. We'll just go with that.
Okay.
But it was from an old like
Concrete.
concrete.
They made concrete down in Lake Alfred. It was like a
factory, where the
factory.
trucks would pull up to get loaded up with concrete and shit like that, and it's all just like big metal like
silos, big
exactly.
silos.
Yeah.
And so Danny and Chad went and tied ropes onto the ladder that would go up the silo, and
ripped it off.
Drove Chad's truck
So-
off.
Allegedly.
Allegedly borrowed this stuff.
Allegedly. So that was a metal ladder with 2 PVC pipes that were strapped to each side of like the outside of the ladder, or not the outside, but
Yeah, probably just zip
the
tie.
rim of the rim of the ladder. So you had 2 PVC pipes that just rode this ladder up, and that was the up. And then we
And
took
2 picnic tables and a
2
handrail.
picnic tables and those 2 handrails that we repurposed. That was Shane's cover. We flipped it around, used that as the center, and then this down.
We named that piece Tetanus. No, it was bad.
Yeah, it was tetanus.
Like building this
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then there was like these PVC pipes down. But I'm saying like,
Even the PVC pipes were another ladder with PVC pipes on it.
exactly another ladder. So there was like nothing that was like
Actually made for the thing. Everything else was made as other
It was
things.
an evolution
we
of it.
Like even the
And it all started from the floating dock, which was originally a jump. But that was like
yeah.
it was
a
all,
ski jump that like went flat, and we just had the top of it.
It was, all,
It was like
And the floating dock originally held the 4 picnic tables that were originally stolen
yeah.
or borrowed.
Allegedly.
talk about circle of life.
That's
No,
a
wait.
full circle story right
No,
there.
I mean, and that's the thing is like we would go down to where we lived in Lake Alfred, and Danny and Grubb and Chad and Ruck, all of us would all just meet up and just move shit around, and it would just start with 1 picnic table up and then 3 flat, and then you'd be like, okay, let's go 2 on top with the 1 up, so it's like an incline to a double stack, and then you'd just Lego this thing apart, and you just go, let's do this, and everybody'd hit it for a day, go, okay, tomorrow, and then later on that night after we hit it, and we're like, that's cool, Chad and Danny or somebody would be like, let's go steal this, I saw a ladder hanging off of the silo. They go steal, it was just crazy that we would just pull
Just
things
making
up,
it happen, put
just
stuff together.
Lego it all together, and at any point it could all fall apart, but it
Sometimes
never
it
did.
did.
Sometimes but
Yeah, sometimes.
it all buffed. Okay, a lot of gnarly rails. I got a little pivot, but I'm curious on which rider from the early 2000s do you wish this new generation could watch in their prime? And we're eliminating Randall from this hypothetical.
I think Mark Kenney would be a sweet one, man. I think we lost Mark Kenney. Was a young Australian cable rider from Australia. He lived with me for a few months in Lake Alfred, and I think he passed away in the year 2000. But
2002.
2002. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 2002. But Mark, he was like flat water tricks. Like he rewrote the book, like Shannon Best, like they can do S-spins and stuff, but like this new age, like load that line to where you think that carrier's about to like pull the fuck out. Like he was the first one that could like lock that down and had that kind of like explosiveness, and he translated that to the boat too. Like he would do an S-spin and land so far outside the boat, he would be completely, I'm serious, like he'd be completely outside 90 degrees to the boat, and he would like ollie flick a front flip backside 360.
Yeah.
Outside, like not a slim chance, like, oh yeah, pretty much a fucking like a slim, like it's great. Yeah.
Mark was
an air front blind.
Air front blind 3, 90 degrees out to the side of the boat, and it was just like he did.
Mark was this weird prodigy from Australia that learned to wakeboard on the cable and got really good at a very young age, and then was like, okay, I'm going to America and I'm like taking this to the boat, and was competing on a very high level from being a cable rider, but was hands down like amazing, like I would say top 5 riders out of nowhere, like came from Australia and immediately was like eyes on him. Like, what is he doing? How does this guy have so much board control,
It was wild,
knowledge
dude.
of everything, and was just booting?
You know who else did that from Australia before Mark? Also a Mark McNamara.
McNamara,
Yeah. McNamara's good. Good call too.
yeah.
He also was a
He was
guy
very
that
stylish.
he came from cable and he was riding with Greg Nicrasen. I mean, what he invented the Toe Rayleigh 3, right? Or
Yeah. 90210.
90210, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would love because like cables come so far. Like nowadays, it's crazy. I mean, from rails and just like when I was at 313, like watching the flat water, like it's truly amazing how big they go and what they do. And like I think for them to know Mark McNamara and Mark Kenney of like cable riders that you need, like that would like that they probably haven't really heard of, like they really far ahead of their time. And Mark ended up like separate. Mark McNamara ended up like kind of parting ways from wakeboarding, kind of like it started like his own band and stuff. And so we never really got to see him kind of like the later part of his career. And then
Didn't
Mark
we see
Kenney
when
passed
we went
away.
to
and-
Australia random?
He's still around. Yeah,
we saw
I
him
saw
when
him
we
last
were
time I
over
went to
there.
Australia. Yeah, those are two good. And happened to be named Mark. Happened to be cable early days, like groundbreaking kind of like dudes, and both Australian, man.
And this one's a little bit later, and I know it's still from Australia, but Chris O goes under the radar all the time.
How's Chris O not get mentioned on?
Oshea's the most underrated of
How
all
is he not mentioned on the Mount Rushmore? We all dropped a
We
ball.
dropped the ball.
Everyone single.
This is a terrible look for the Grad Matters podcast.
I've gone on an Oshea's rant before.
Are you shitting me? I thought about this
that
question
just-
too.
That proves it.
Sheezy was like crazy.
I'm like genuinely upset. Yeah, we all.
He's honestly one of like the
Oshea's.
he was such a good personality and such a good guy that it's crazy that it's one of those riders that was so good, but nothing ever worked great for him. Like it was mostly sponsorship things that would just unfold. Like out of nowhere, he would be riding for Hyperlight and they'd be like, no, we're going in a different direction. And you're like, didn't you just like dominate this year?
He had
have like best section. He'd had like best section of the year. And
Chris
they're like,
direction.
Yeah, I don't get it.
yeah. There's always a handful of riders that you're kind of just like, they had the best section of the year or they had the most monumental moment of the year, and sponsors would be like, we're going in a different direction. And you're like, I don't think it's the right direction. Like,
No, Chris O'Shea is by far possibly the most underrated wakeboarder of all time. And boat for sure. And he shredded, I mean, cable and rail. I mean, like,
and one of those riders that was like completely himself, would never wasn't ever faking the funk on,
would never fake.
Like I mean, he would just, we don't even need to get it, but we have numerous stories that just about Oshea's just being Oshea's, and it's the best.
And
like that's who you want.
His shit was raw
That's
and
who you
gritty, and it
want.
looked like his own. Like it didn't look like a Jeff Rowley.
He's not
kind of,
copying
like, It was like
anybody.
there was
Yeah.
like it was.
He was one of the rawest.
Yeah. Okay. So last time I was here and we did a podcast, I know I said the people that need to be sponsored are the ones that if they aren't sponsored won't be wakeboarding, and that's Chris O'Shea, because once he's not sponsored, he's now running his shop and he's doing something. But like,
We need him wakeboarding.
That was a
needed-
sponsorship flaw where we needed to give money to him so he would keep wakeboarding, because he was so original, so crazy, so
He makes
awesome.
us all look better.
Yeah.
He was way ahead of, I mean,
Yeah.
he honestly, for a lot of wake trick, I mean, he was way ahead of his time. He introduced so many concepts that are
A lot of modern day rap
are a
stuff.
part of wakeboarding today that he innovated and did first, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's an argument against he's the most underrated. I really can't. The fact that we left him off,
It's unspeakable.
not even honorable mention like that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fucking
unspeakable.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Shame.
so on the secondary,
Yeah.
Wait,
Ruck.
Ruck's adding his 7th Mount Rushmore.
No, but you can re-edit
so
this.
we have DG, we have Derry, and
Chris
we,
O.
we have Chris O.
And what about Tino? No, I'm just.
All right. I think we're going to dive into I was going on Alliance and looking up some old stuff about Pointless. And you guys remember the Pointless gap from the Butter Effect? The down rail out of the pool into the lake, pulled by the boat. You guys remember that? So I want you to tell me how accurate this comment is on that video. And it is from Dan. We don't know his last name. And it goes, get Pointless together before Danny is on the PGA Tour, Watson owns a strip club, Chad is on ESPN fishing, Ruck is on tour with a Zeppelin cover band, and I don't know what the rest will do. The Bonifays will probably still be wakeboarding. How accurate are we looking at this?
Hey, big shout out, Dan.
I like that.
I like that, dude. I think like everyone's would be doing good, you know.
I feel that's a great.
Here's what I love is that this guy was a fucking Pointless fan.
That's what I'm saying. How accurate are these statements? Because they're looking.
Okay.
Chad on the bass tour. It's probably I don't know how much he's fishing these days.
Ideally, though, like
He's probably catching more bass than Watson seeing strippers.
Yeah, and
Yeah, definitely.
I golf more than Danny, so just wanted to brag.
Here's what I love about old school Pointless fans. Do you guys remember in the magazine when that one kid submitted that drawing he did of the boat? I don't know if you remember this. The only reason I really remember this is because my mom cut this out of a magazine and sent it to me, a wakeboard magazine. And it was a kid that illustrated a boat, and all of us sitting there. I was wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt. Shane, you had the camera. Freaking PB, you had a big old afro with a headband on. Grub was in there looking super GQ. And
That's awesome.
And the gang
That's awesome.
and some kids sent this into the magazine and they published it, and it was some kid that took the time to like draw the Pointless Posse, you know what I mean? And like I was like, my mom sent that to me and I was like, you know what? Out of all the random things that actually mean something to me, like
That's pretty damn cool, man.
that's freaking cool. Like,
yeah,
we meant enough to this kid that he wanted to freaking draw us.
Celebrity status,
yeah.
Looked up to.
And I love that we did a good enough job on portraying our personalities that it was evident to everybody. Like all of the fans could, if you watch the Pointless videos or if you were looking at the mags, you knew the personalities involved with everybody. You would know that Ruck was this, liked fish and liked this like heady stuff. You knew that Grub was you knew the personalities of all of these.
I think the
characters.
magazines, like you get it through social media nowadays if you follow certain people and you see what they're about. But like, I think the magazine just like
They brought it all
for the
together.
fact that it
Yeah.
brought it all together for one monthly look through, and it was like, it's just something that like
The magazine
sad it doesn't exist really today. Like,
magazines and like the marketing back then was about, it wasn't about creating a fake identity of a thing that you wanted to portray. It was about finding the identity of the person and portraying that as good as you could. And I think at our time, that was so well done. Like, it wasn't like this like social media fake influencer. This is what we want to do. This is how we're doing it. Like, everybody was who the fans thought. Like, when this person drew this thing, he drew what he imagined
exactly
of us, and it was so spot on. Like, that's what we were. I think what we were good with Pointless.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna have my mom send me that so you can post that.
I would love to see that. That'd be super
because
cool.
it is cool.
And I have a comment on this because I think that I agree with what you're saying. I think also brands helped back in the day build up each of their riders' persona and what their personality was
Agreed.
and what they looked like. And I think that's so much bigger than the sport itself. And I feel like I'm not going to like blame the brands that they're not doing that right now, but like in a sense we kind of are. I feel like we're putting a lot of responsibility on each rider of like, all right, well, you have social media, go build your own personality. It's like, well, how about it'd be great if the brands also helped build
Right,
up
yeah,
people's
it's like
personality.
they're like, build your brand. We're going to sell product. We're going to
through
post
your brand.
through your brand, and
where it's like, well,
to
help
where
me
like
build that
and
brand.
help you make you the rock star, kind of like
Yeah, help make make these people the rock stars. And I think that I think some brands do a really good job of that. Like Red Bull, I think does a really good job of making these people rock stars. I think other brands maybe not do as good of a job of that. And I think that's part of the reason what you were saying, Shane, is like building these people up, making their brands huge. And that's,
and maybe it's not even, sometimes it's not even the personality that the person is wanting to portray, but it's like, but this is what we know of you. And this is what actually is the better, it's the good side. Like, we love this part of you.
yeah, we made
And
a
it's
decision
like,
to bring you on.
yeah,
Let's show you why.
Yeah, let's show you why. Even if the writer sometimes like is like, if they were to design their own Instagram, they'd be like, I don't want to be the person that I actually am. But whenever the brands and the magazines and everything is like going,
Portray it
no,
as it sees,
portray it as you see it. And then they're like, look, you are this person. Like, look at the photos we have. This is the story we have. Like, it unfolds the same way. And I don't feel like I wouldn't say the magazines nowadays because they're not there, but yeah, the brands aren't doing that. They're not building up their clients or their riders the same way as they used to.
Yeah, because I feel like riders want to have like the core presence on their own profile. So like I think La Familia, they probably all want their own Instagram to look, core, cool, look good. But then let's have the brands or all these other people like show all these other sides that like the core dude doesn't want to show on his Instagram.
Yeah.
But we still need to show it because like there's a reason you're on our team, right? Like it's not just because you post the cool core stuff on Instagram.
And also, I think it's like the editorial part of it. Like, too, the images they'll live forever in our head. But like, I think like we had like really great Tony Smith. Like we had really good editors through Wakeboarding Magazine and Alliance and Bill, like to where they can articulate the trips that these wake stocks and some of these bro stocks and some of these things that we're reliving through podcasts. But like these were editorial words that were in black and white underneath like these actual images seen for the first time. And I think that's a really rare thing. And like reading is like the most simplest thing of like consuming content. It's the most original to where I think it's a lost thing that we almost like take for granted back in the day. And I think that had such a big impact to where when magazines don't exist anymore, like we waited for these magazines to get delivered to our doorstep to run into the to coffee table and flip through. And like, whether you read it right away, you would eventually read every story in that thing. And I think the editorials are something that like,
yeah. And even the people writing it, like you would bring in the people that would write these editorials were very good at conveying what happened at that moment and at that event without making it seem crazy.
Some of you don't get on Instagram nowadays. You don't get like really well written stories of what it's all. Quick. You get some captions of some quick kind of thing and maybe a little hot tag at the bottom, but like you don't really get colorful words the way it was.
Yeah, you have somebody, like the Garrett writing what happened that weekend and how he saw all of us reacting and doing things, and we're totally fine with it because it sounds beautiful because he wrote this thing, and then it just is set in stone. Whereas like this is what these guys did, like this is how cool it was, and then we're like, okay, that was cool, but that's now fans' view on what we did. And it's, somebody that wrote it eloquently and nice and documented everything.
But, adding to that, the lack of the editorial world also took away, obviously, an editorial painting of what was going on. It took away an editorial budget. It took away an editorial trip. It took away so much of what was the painting of what wakeboarding was. And yeah, it leaves it to social media and, everyone doing their own social media thing. That's cool, whatever. But the fact, like, back in the day, like, Just the fact that there was an editorial world.
This third party over here being just watching.
Exactly. It's a third party watching documenting and telling the story of who these people are, not you telling everyone who you are.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You ask
Kinda
5 riders to
Exactly.
go on a trip and to just document it on Instagram. That's all their point of view of what they
And they're also
think
trying
is
to make
happening.
themselves look the coolest.
They want to make
Exactly.
themselves look cool.
You get
They're
more of the
doing
fly on the
this.
wall kind of perspective
Yeah,
of
exactly.
a trip, kind of like
Where it's like, yeah, Thomas Herman was taking a shit for 45 minutes and it was crazy. Like, he's not going to post that, but that's good
But
shit.
that's
Like,
good
that's
shit.
funny.
And
Whatever
now
it
we
is,
know
you know?
this dude
Super
takes
huge
shits
dump.
for 25
Super huge
minutes.
dump.
Yeah.
and no one would call themselves out on
It's a
it.
6 flusher. Like, you know?
6 flusher.
Hey, but I would respect somebody if they're on their Instagram like, hey, there's a big photo shoot happening, and I've been
stuck on the toilet.
I've been shitting for 45 minutes because I'm so nervous.
Golden
to be
Bear
here.
is pissed right now.
No, I like it.
All right. I mean, I don't
Bring
know.
back the words.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't have anything else on my sheet. We're running at 3 hours here, but anything else you guys want to
Are we
chat
at 3 hours?
Yeah, we are.
Wow, that went by fast, gang.
Damn.
Yeah, Dad.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, can I get a little Mr. Boston's before we wrap it up?
You
You're a
sure you
heavy
don't want
Boston
Zachariah's Harris
A little
premium
top off for you,
dog?
right?
Yeah, just a little top off.
Ruck, are you sure you don't want a little bit of
That's good. That's good. That's a heavy.
Zachariah.
That was a heavy top off.
premium dog? Premium dog.
I think the votes are
No,
in here. for the
Mr.
people.
Boston is creamy nog, not premium nog.
Yeah, this is creamy nog.
Yeah.
Ah, that's the difference.
Yeah, Zachariah
They
Harris
should have went creamy in.
is premium.
Pretentious?
Premium.
Yeah.
Blue collar. That's what we're looking at right
And
now.
we all know who I'm drinking is the pretentious.
Yeah.
Can I mix it a little too? Is that illegal?
Yeah, don't
There's
get out
absolutely
of
no
here. Why
rules
don't you
here.
get out of here with
Hey,
that big thing?
some eggnog snobs is like, that is disrespectful.
How could you?
disrespectful.
They're like, you know what? I followed 3 hours of this shit, and now this guy's mixing the.
This guy's
frickin-
mixing nogs.
I'm done with this podcast.
I just really hope that I did the,
All I've learned is an Osheezy and a triple of whippy.
I hope that Zachariah comments on the comment section of this and goes, "Hey, why are they talking so much shit about my fucking nog? Shane loves it."
Hey, you're about to get a case sent to you.
I hope so. That'd be unreal.
Zachariah
Shane,
Harris,
hit him with the
premium
Shane.
dog. Let me tell you, this thing is just nice. It's not too creamy. It's not too bitter.
Well, it's not
It is-
creamy at all.
It is a little creamy.
No.
It's
You know what?
nog. It's just not as creamy as the Mr. Boston.
That
stuff.
nog sucks. I'm gonna stand on business. I don't like that nog.
This thing's going home with me, and you guys can suck it.
All right. I mean, is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Are we good to wrap it up here?
Do we get a vote on the ROTY fucking board?
Well, you
or
guys
what?
have all been on, but I think
Can we unanimously vote on one?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually you guys haven't been on since this has.
I was the one right before you started with
You were
Gavin.
the first, okay, then
I was the one. I bubbled.
Then we absolutely can because it's supposed to be people who have not voted on it yet. So, yeah, I think we absolutely we got some sippings going on here. I think we absolutely
So whatever we vote on gets written on the board, right?
you three are gonna vote on a name, and that'll go on the bottom line. It'll be the Pointless Posse.
Hey, can we
Votes
just
here.
all just like come together and just say it's one of us, just so our name is on the board?
You have to wakeboard this year for your name to be on the board.
I rode.
It's true.
Yeah, the fact that you have to think about it, you're done. You're out.
Yeah, done.
You're done.
I foiled the other day.
That counts.
That was a sick foil
That's
sash.
negative points for wakeboard road.
That's funny. That's funny.
That's funny.
Body.
Funny.
So we got Rivers Hedrick, Pedro Caldas, Cole Kreis, and Trent Stuckey on here. So you guys either are gonna think of a new name, or you're gonna vote to endorse a name.
I'll say a name, and
throw some stuff out there.
I being for years when you were a rider of the year, we're the only ones who got to vote for a while, and then so I don't know if that's still like
This
that.
isn't an official vote. This is
No.
just,
But I'm
people's.
just I know. Yeah, I'm just. And I don't know. I think this is more official than the original. And for years, I would vote for someone, and I don't think the person I ever voted for got picked. But Cole actually texted me today.
Cole
And,
Kreis.
Yep. No, not Cole Kreis.
Cole Van Hoff.
Yeah, Cole Van Hoff.
Gotcha.
He texted me and asked me my riding pick, and I said Rivers.
Okay, another endorsement for Rivers, Ruck, or Shane. Where do
You don't have to. You don't have to.
You guys,
I'm
we're
just
throwing
saying,
names
like,
out. We're throwing names out.
No, I think actually, I mean, I don't know Rivers well personally. I've met her, through some of the Stucky stuff and mainly Stucky stuff. But I think she, from a media standpoint and a talent and writing standpoint, in the women's and crossing over in the men's world, she's crushing. She's crushing. I don't really know if I have a pick yet.
You're still chewing on it?
I think it is tough. I think Rivers is
I think she's a badass.
I think she's a badass.
She is a badass.
And I think Trent is like up there. Like Trent definitely deserves the respect, but I mean, almost what Ruck was saying, like between the media, the writing, what she did, how I feel like she's that much better than her class, like the other females in the group.
And honestly, when's a female gonna take the overall of?
I would put my vote on Rivers too, because I think she is that influential and that good to the whole category of what's happening.
Yeah. You had some thoughts, Rock, or no?
But Trent's a
I think if Trent won like a pro tour stop this year, it would be a different conversation.
Even if Trent got
Trent
top
had
three,
Trent had an insane year. Me saying Rivers right away is like nothing taken away from Trent, or I mean even Pedro at that sense. But I honestly I think Trent almost had a better year the year before.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
than he did this year. And from what I've seen, like contest wise, like I feel like, well, women's cable riding in general is just. It blows my mind like how good the women are, like, and it's not just Rivers, like Claude and like Katinka. There's they are so good, so many of them across the board. And this year, I feel like what I've watched, like Rivers had a slight like a Trent Stuckey advantage on the crowd, but in a women's version of like from what I've seen this year. So I just think like she's kind of just.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot working with Liquid. Like, she shows a lot of her edits and stuff. Like, the trifecta of making content, doing the content, and winning contest or doing the event side of it. She's top notch on all aspects.
And I try to put it into like basic sports terms of like if you're going into a contest, let's say cable contest. And you put a list of names on there, who's going to be favored? It's going to be Rivers Hedrick every single time. I feel complete confidence in that. She is a very much so a step ahead of where a lot of the other women are at, in my opinion, and she is fucking good right now. And
and you could have a women's rider of the year and a men's rider of the year, and for the fact that they only do one, that's kind of cool. And it's I'm not women's hater or men's hater, but I think it is cool that they do one. But I think you gotta. When the time is right, if that is the way it is, you gotta like give a tip to the cap of when the women are doing it better than the men. Like,
girl.
And honestly, I just think I think this year, from what I've seen, I
agree.
Yeah, I
she crushes. I do have to say that Pedro is
possibly one of my favorite riders to watch right now. Like as straight wakeboarding.
Yeah.
Just straight wakeboarding.
Yeah.
He is a ninja, dude. He's so badass.
Ninja. Yeah, he really is a ninja, dude.
He's
a ninja.
Like
a tactician, man. There's no one with like his almost, he has better board. Trent Stuckey probably has better rope tension and handle pass control, but like no one has better board control, I feel, than Pedro. Like I feel like it's like it is. He's really fun to watch, man.
He's fun to watch.
I feel like it was slept on. He did double chrome up this year. Like that's MBD. So it's like,
but that has been done before.
No, champion Valkyrie. No, that double
Adam
chromo.
Arrington.
That's champion Valkyrie. That's just double crow.
Oh yeah, that's just
you didn't have double chrome up.
Yep, nope, not double chrome up.
Just double crow. That was Champion Valkyrie.
But
And
it
in
wasn't
that-
called a
You're right.
Until the 180, it was just a
You're right.
champion Valkyrie.
You're right,
which
peeps.
A double
You're-
crow is, for the record,
My
called
bad.
a champion.
That was my
Valkyrie.
bad. Just a double crow is called a
Ruck,
Champion Valkyrie.
Get
Which
out!
he did do it.
Yeah, get out! You're done.
Champion Valkyrie, you were there,
I
Shane.
was there. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful
OWC.
champion Valkyrie.
Champion Valkyrie is a double crow named after a
Disc.
when we were super. I mean,
Into disc
we
golf?
go through phases. Yeah, disc golf.
Wakeboarders and disc golf name more iconic duo. All right. I mean, I think so. Is that official? Are we going Rivers? The Pointless crew.
I
These
think.
three
Hey,
are endorsing.
if a woman won,
If anybody could endorse a woman, I don't want to say just us, but like as somebody that makes content, is a filmer, is a badass on rails, it's really cool.
she's doing it.
I think we're gonna all just come together and say, yeah, I think it's Rivers.
All right.
She's doing it.
Well, at least that's our vote. We made a strong convention.
we did make a good argument for it, but we'll see.
Unless Chris O'Shea came back right now.
I would give it to Chris.
he drops an edit.
Can we put Chris O'Shea on there right now? I mean, he did have a baby with Anna
He won
Nickstead,
Rider of the
so
Year,
he's
did he
sort
not?
of
Yeah, he
doing
did.
wakeboarding.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
He did.
He did.
He won.
He should
Rider
win
of the Year.
Roddy for that alone.
Father.
I
won.
know, yeah, he's him and Anna Nickstead, like
That baby's gonna fucking. shred.
That's gonna be a hell of a
baby's
wake
gonna be
baby.
sick. So cool.
I got a question for the Patreons. Who's gonna have a better wake baby?
I know where you're going with this, and I'm curious.
Anna and Chris O'Shea, or Megan Ethel and Gunther Oka? Question is out there.
Or Jamie Lapina
Jamie
and
Lapina.
Jack.
or Dean Smith and Amber Wing.
I mean, there's gonna. Damn,
That's Australian too. I guess
that's
Chris
a good
is
one
half
too.
Australian.
Man, hey, we
I mean, that baby's going to be
Can
fucking
you imagine
crazy.
in 15 years?
Can you imagine Amber
you
Wing
need a
and
Mount
Dean-
Rushmore of wake babies.
Mount Rushmore of wake babies. That's gonna be a thing.
Nepo babies?
Jimmy and I used to laugh about. You could ask him about this. Ask about the future of women's wakeboarding, and what the pro tour will look like 15 years from now, because so many of our friends had girls, like very few,
Like statistically high.
no,
amount
like
of girls.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone almost had girls, from Byerly to Murray to Chad to
Watson.
Harley to Watson to Vandal to like
D Harp.
D Cook to like.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It's like
we're talking numbers.
No, I'm saying there's like there's a lot of
Yeah.
They all had female. I was like, man, the female wakeboarding community
They don't know
is
what's
going to be
coming.
doesn't know it's coming in about 15, 20 years, dude. We're going to have all the old names back.
Oh, I love that. That's sick.
Ask Jimmy about that tomorrow.
I will. Love it. All right. I mean, I think we wrap this up before we call it a day here. I mean, anything else? Are we good?
All right, one more
Yeah, no,
toast.
Shane, one last commercial
we hit
plug.
3 hours straight pretty hard.
Yeah, we did.
One last commercial plug for Elijah.
Yeah.
You want another Zachariah?
Zachariah Harris Premium Nog. Let me tell you, this thing is nice. It is not too creamy like that Boston stuff.
Premium Nog.
It is just a nice.
There you go,
perfect
peeps.
nog.
Premium. No.
Premium Nog. All right.
I think the proof's in the pudding. There's more Boston Nog missing than there is. Well, maybe he
Well,
just
maybe.
changed that.
We're going to go smoke that double or nothing cigar.
Yeah, it'll fall apart. All right. Well, thanks. Thank you guys for coming on. This was unreal.
Thank
Absolutely.
you, Hunter.
Great
That's
Christmas
fun.
Thank you.
special.
Hunter.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's Christmas Eve if you're watching right now, or Christmas Day. So
Merry
everyone
Christmas,
has-
everyone.
Yeah,
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
You.